Let's go. And we're live. Hello, everybody. Apologies for being mildly late, but we were having a little too much fun chatting in the back room. I'm a terrible host. I don't know how to put my foot down and get things started. So, welcome everyone to the Hellion Artshow. I'm here today with Jason Crager of Hammer, an awesome post-Ragnarok comic that is on in demand right now, and I saw it a couple weeks ago. I was like, I think we're gonna have a lot to talk about. This looks awesome, and I'm here with Vault Kobold, the creator of Havoc and Trials and Triumph. That is ending today. You're wrapping today, so we're also going to talk about that. And with Steve Dye, editor extraordinaire, and AC and Nick Zamudio, who are also helping me on my comic Fiendish. So, welcome to the show. Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Oh.
Hey, chat.
Hello, chat. Hello, chat. Hi, Chimera, Rick Sailor.
Chimera, oh no, not that guy again.
Yeah, he's always here. It's terrible.
The big old dwarf has appeared.
I may have heard.
Norin! What's up? What's up? Alright, let's see. I had a crazy hectic day. As first of all, if I haven't mentioned, so I've been having like a disaster of a week. First my car broke, and then I locked myself out of the house, and then my ceiling collapsed.
Yeah,
It's
I
been-
saw that on Facebook. You didn't tell me. I didn't know any of this.
Yeah! And I've been
I
busy
think
dealing with things in real life rather than complaining about it online, but it's been a hell of a week.
I'm sorry.
I assumed it was
My
so
ceiling
good because the very next day she was just like, "Hey, happy Dragon Boat Day" or something. So I was like, "Okay, she must be fun."
I mean, it didn't collapse on me, but it did collapse. It wasn't fun. That wasn't fantastic. So.
Cool. Was it the issue with that load-bearing beam that you had mentioned before, or what?
Yeah. Well, it's part of it. So the house I bought, the people who lived here before were really smart, and they decided to do a lot of like the construction and the pipe work themselves, and they were definitely not professionals. So they let's see, we found a ton of problems with the pipes, tons of problems with the wiring. I had to redo a bunch of it, and the worst part is they took out a load-bearing wall and didn't disclose it. So like a month after I moved, I was like, why is my ceiling sagging? And then like I got my construction guy, and he's like, that was load-bearing wall. Is your ceiling's not supposed to sag? I was like, I assume not. So we were fixing it, and it wasn't like it fell down because we caught it in time, but like as we were like removing parts of it to fix it and to like push it up, it's complicated. I'm not gonna go into all the details, but another side that was next to it, that was adjacent to like the beam we were gonna put up, it had been so weakened by the ceiling sagging that it just crumbled and fell. So that's what happened.
Did you get anything damaged or anything like that?
Just a lot of dust everywhere.
Okay, it's just
More money.
or like, did it fall on your TV or something? I don't know.
No, and my AC is also broken. It's been a really horrible week. I think I'm haunted, guys. It's been so
I think
terrible.
you're cursed. Okay.
I'm
You got a curse going
cursed.
on.
It's Georgia, and then my AC is broken. So
That was
I
no
might
good.
I might be drinking later. I
Yeah,
might be
that's-
drinking later.
That's a bad situation.
You gotta
What?
drink now. You just drink now.
You're right. I should. Okay.
You forgot to buy booze today.
You know what? I do have some booze. I gotta. Maybe as you're going in, when you're going into Hammer and everything, I'm gonna go get myself a drink, and this is gonna be a very fun stream because we're all gonna be drunk. How's that?
Yeah, I didn't think I'd get drunk, but
kidding.
yeah, having a drink is okay.
Yeah,
I
I don't ever
need
get
it.
drunk.
I
You get drunk
certainly
though.
do.
That's fine. You get drunk. That's fine.
That's
but
fine.
it is unnecessary for me to join you.
Okay, all right, fine. I'm the only alcoholic here. All right, so but
The
enough.
state of mind.
It's a state of mind. Yes. Okay. If I'm at peace with everything, then everything is fine.
Yeah,
It's
kumbaya.
not, but yeah, I don't even have my car now because it's in the shop, so
Oh.
I haven't been able to do anything, and it's been really painful. Yeah, dude, I need someone to lift this curse from me. All right. Let's get started. Enough complaining about my life. Here we go.
Oh, here, let me go. This is actually the PDF for the 6-page story that my friend Jay Gonzo did. And I haven't shown this to anybody. We can show it now.
Ooh, cool. I was wondering what that was because I saw like the art style is a little different than the main book. Why don't you like kind of introduce yourself? Because I don't know what you worked on before, and this is our first time meeting. So like, how'd you come about to doing this?
So I'm a 8-year comic book veteran. I started working with Harris Comics back when I was 18 or 19 years old as a ink assistant to Joe Weems. We worked over many people, and then I ended up helping him when he went over to Top Cow. And I was a ink assistant and a penciler at some point at Top Cow. And I also worked at Avatar, and I was a penciler and inker there also, and an art director back in the heyday, actually, back in the 2000s. And from there, I went on to do commercial framing and a bunch of other stuff, and I stopped drawing comics, and I started sculpting for a hobby. And I came out of retirement back into comics probably 5 years ago. And a friend of mine hit me up to do a book. I did a book with him, like 5 issues over like 2 years. I penciled and inked it. It's not out yet. But in that time, I developed Hammer. And that's when I kind of went full bore on Hammer. I finished that other project and I went full steam ahead on making Hammer. And I was telling you that story before we came on. And now I have a very firm grasp of what I'm doing with this book. And it's actually kind of going to be really cool. It's 48 pages over 10 issues. I'm being printed through Failed Superheroes Club, which is Adam Lawson's company, who just did the Kill Journals. I'm the artist on the Kill Journal also. Hey, Simon, how are you? Sim. And I just finished the Kill Journal and jumped back on Hammer. And I'm getting all my contributors who are working on Hammer with me to finish up their stuff. And what we were showing right now is just that. So let me show you this stuff. Let me get back to it.
Sweet.
So here we are.
I was thinking your art definitely looked like a pro. I was like, this isn't someone that just popped into doing comics. So I was like, where'd he come from? So cool.
I've been around for a long time. I've used the art name Jason Crager since 1999 or 2000. My real name is Jason Jewett, Jewett. You guys could look me up. I worked for many, many, many people. So I use the art name Crager because I like it. I like my great-grandfather's name. So I decided to kind of pay respect to him by using that name when I became the art director at Avatar.
Nice. Not so much a nom de plume as an homage to Gramps.
It is. It totally is. My great-grandfather was born in 1904, and his name was Jason Crager. And so I went ahead and took his name. I was named after him anyways.
I like it. I like it, and I like the composition on this page too. I mean, that's definitely top notch.
Now, this isn't me. This is actually my friend Jason Gonzalez. He is the artist of La Mano del Destino, and who just came out through Image and Top Cow as a 6-issue. Here, I have it. Hold on. Let me grab this thing. Okay.
Well, while you grab, irrespective, the art is nice for sure. Just the composition of how the title and the subtitle and how it wraps the image at the bottom.
Thank you.
It's a nice looking page.
Here we
Let's go back to me. This is La Mano del Destino. This just came out through Top Cow.
It's a wrestler. Okay.
Yeah, I did this piece on the back for him. Anyways, we've been friends since junior high, and I had him contribute some artwork to my book. And for the first time, we're going to show that stuff. And in its completion, lettered. And can you see it?
Exclusive preview. Yeah,
Okay.
you can see it.
So we're going to roll
Pop
through
Culture
it.
Adventure says, Hammer looks great. Yes, it does.
Thank you so much. It does. I am busting butt to make it look awesome. So I wanted my friend to do me a 70s version of my character. And I wanted like the ultra like Kirby version of her. And this is essentially a continuation or a meta fiction that's created in my world. Or after my 10-issue series would be over. So this kind of shows what she would look like after my 10-issue series and when she ascends to Asgard. Little mohawk and all.
Yeah, I was thinking that's design is the more final godlike form of her, right? Because
right.
I saw your premise that was on Indiegogo. I was like, well, she seems like starts out as a normal person, so it seems like a transformation to become this design. But I like it. I like how you can still tell it's her, and it's very God of Thunder.
Yes, absolutely. So now that we've seen that, let's go to something else. Would you like to
ogre baby?
Ogre baby.
Yeah, it's a little ice giant baby.
Oh my god. They hatch. That's great.
Isn't that cool? It hatched.
That's cool.
He did such a cool job. I was so into what he was doing. So I ended up redoing, I was telling you before, part of the book, and or a lot of the book. And this is some of it that I ended up redoing, right? So this is
I can't see anything on my screen.
It's not showing up right now, Jason.
I'm not.
No,
yeah,
it's
just a black block.
Right now. You exited out of the PDF from class, and it's just black.
I see what it is. Okay, give me 1 second, guys. Okay.
StreamYards is finicky sometimes.
It is. It's kind of crazy. So let me go back to that. Okay, and then say to stop screen. There we go. Then I'll share again. And I'll do it so that it does my entire screen. Allow.
That might help.
Yeah, it's not gonna cause that problem now.
Yep.
So
there we go.
Oh,
let's see.
That's a picture.
Sweet. Holy shit! That fucking not work.
Yeah, Jason, could you actually zoom in a little bit?
I can. Hold on one moment.
See, I thought I was detail obsessed.
Hold on.
Oh, that's fun.
That's gorgeous.
Let me see if I can get back.
Nice.
Hold on. I think I can do it this way. There we go.
Oh gosh, yeah, I love that.
Is that the what is it, like the world tree serpent or something?
That's the world serpent, Jormungandr.
Yeah.
Yes,
wrong one.
That is Jormungandr and Thor. This is the double-page spread after they have a conversation.
Oh, right, because it's post-Ragnarok. That's okay, I get it. I was like, what happened to Thor? It's post-Ragnarok. Duh.
Yeah, you can see Thor, and they're having this conversation, and Thor is segmenting Jormungandr as he's coming across the page, right? And then he's like, fuck you, stop fucking killing me. And then if you look way down here,
Yep.
Chomp.
Yep.
Cool.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, he said bye-bye, all right. So
nice.
I am I am diligently working on this stuff for you guys, and I really, really, really am excited. And
Well,
let me
pull it
right.
on the. I want to see the. I mean, it's kind of a V dub, but the rear quarter panel's a little strange. But then you got the supercharger. I'm into cars, dude. Seriously.
It's like, look at that car. Yeah, back this book, guys. You can still get it in demand, and just get it.
That's
just
great,
for
man.
the art. Just the art alone. Yeah. Good this book.
All right, that's got the more classic rear.
It does.
Draw cars. Drawing cars is not easy. That's something that seems to be a very elusive skill set within.
It's not easy.
Certainly, a lot of the guys that I'm looking at you, Sim, have a really difficult time drawing a car. No, I'm just kidding, Sam. He's gotten much better now.
Drawing vehicles are hard. I will tell you, 90% of the time I have to use serious reference, and in most cases I end up tracing the damn car. So
yeah, well, I'm a bit of a gearhead, and among the many comics I grew up on was the old Cartoons magazine, and I loved all that stuff. I don't know how many people out there have heard of it, a bit of a dinosaur, but it was all these cartoons compiled together, and yeah. And I also see a lot of motorcycle artwork in my more general previous line of work or whatever, and people just jack up the perspective on vehicles. Really, really, like that thing would just go right off the road. That won't work. That thing doesn't even have tie rods. What's going on? So anyway, well done. I'll shut up about it, but well done.
It's not. How do you jack the perspective on a car? It's just the same as background. You just like follow the grid. Sumo Thori says, Jason, you got any examples of the 8x10 original art sketches that come with the art edition tier? Sorry, Steve.
I do.
There's such a thing as steering geometry. Let's pay respect to steering geometry. All right, I'll shut up. Sure.
Let me get out of this real quick. Let me close that. Let me go back onto me, I guess. And I will show you one of the sketches that I just did for the backer.
Oh yeah,
nice. Oh, that's fun.
Nice.
I like how you have like these mechanical draugrs in the story, and then you have like all these different versions of them, like these post-apocalyptic draugrs that are like half machine and shit.
I do.
And you have sculptures of them too.
I do.
I do some sculpting, but I'm the opposite. I draw too much, and I don't have time to get any sculpting done. But I'm like, oh, this is so cool! You're doing sculpture stuff with your comics. I was like, I have to talk to him.
So this is what I just started. I'll put a background on it, and this will go out to some lucky backer also.
Nice.
But let me grab a couple of those little sculptures since you talked about those. Let me go grab them. I'll be right back. Okay. Hold on.
All right.
I was just gonna say, like, what should like yank your headset?
So cool. Pregalu says, dude, that was sweet. Yes, it freaking was. Yes, it was.
Nice.
Wait, is that my Uncle Steve Dye? Steve Dye, you're
my nephew Phil.
Yeah,
that's
you're
my
Phil's
boy.
uncle.
Yeah, that's my boy.
So these are my 4-inch 100mm Dragars, and you can either get them painted, pre-painted, or as blanks that you can paint yourself. And I cast them up myself. Hold on.
I was about to ask, are those casted or do you make them individually?
These are, so the ones on my campaign, the 10-inch to 12-inch ones, those are all handmade with epoxy clay and kit bashed. So these little ones that I make are ZBrushed and then 3D printed on a resin printer. And I resin print my stuff sometimes. You can even see, look at this. It's floating, that neck. Can you see it?
Yeah.
The waist is also floating.
Because it looks like
Those are some delicate attachments, dude.
Right. It looks like you
insane.
made the parts separately and joined them together with wire, but I couldn't tell if you 3D printed that, because you can 3D print that, but then you'd have to, you can't print it all in one piece, can you?
No,
Yeah.
it has to be by piece and connecting them.
Yeah.
These were all printed in one piece.
Oh,
These
really?
were really?
Let's
Oh,
see.
wow.
This was
Man.
printed in one piece.
3D printing is
Was
so
that
freaking
a-
good now.
Did it?
This was printed in one piece.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh, no,
Sweet.
not so. But is the cleanup after printing it? Isn't that kind of a pain in the ass though?
Nah.
It can be, but I'm an artist. I have no problem dealing with that shit.
Oh, okay. Well, as long as you're an artist.
You know,
We deal with pains in the asses all the time.
I filament printed this, and it has a wire inside of it, so I can pose it,
Oh, I
right?
see. Yeah.
and it can be posed, and it's definitely oversized.
That's
this
fucking
thing's
awesome.
23 inches tall.
You just got toys right out the gate already.
That's when I first started designing this stuff. Like, it was a secondary thought to put them into my book. Like, it was, I was like, I always made these really cool, like, little gas mask things, like, doing shit. And then as a secondary thought, I was like, undead warriors. Well, what the fuck, man? My Dragar are perfect for that. And the Vikings, the only thing they're scared of are these things. So
I get it.
that's
Neato.
Is
Go
that
ahead.
shelf
really cool.
behind you? Is that shelf behind you all your work? You have a lot of sculptures up there.
yes. What do you want to see? Which one?
I don't know. Everything.
Because like from here, I think like it all kind of looks like a big smudge. We just see that there's figures, but
Okay.
Yeah, you have
let me-
a lot of your work up there.
Oh,
Let me grab-
Wadsworth says 194. I think that means he's backer 194, dude.
Thank you, sir. I have
Sumo
Thor.
Thori.
Nice to meet you.
Let's see, Sumo
Wow.
Thori says backer 198.
Wow,
yeah.
thank you so much. Hold on one second. Let me grab some of these sculptures for you guys.
it's so nice to see more sculpting.
That's a lot.
yeah, we
of
gotta refresh.
sculpture.
I know. I'm so jealous. He already has like toys and stuff out. And those druggers are a really cool idea. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I need to hire you to make some sculptures for my book sometime.
Okay, before I even came up with the idea for Hammer, I had sculpted this. And
Oh, that was gnarly.
this is a epoxy clay kit bash Dragar that is made out of like clock parts, Da Vinci clock parts, and like the shit you would buy at Hobby Lobby.
Yeah.
And see the giant gear,
Yeah.
epoxy clay, wire, and that's primarily it. And I just painted the hell out of it. I used, I think, one of my son's broken toys, like little arm thing to attach this.
Cool. What
And
are these druggers supposed to be? Are they actual dead humans with machines, or are they just machines?
So, Dragar, 1,000 years previously, were essentially, I guess, robot warriors that we replaced the armies in the world with. As opposed to having humans fight, we had something I call a Pegas fighting. And the Apega is a cybernetic robot, essentially. So they're part human, part robot. Most of the ones that come back are all robot, right? So they do get brought back for a certain reason and by somebody. And they essentially start searching for power sources that they need. I grabbed another piece while I was over there. So I like Mad Max a lot. So this is my version of Lord Humongous.
I can tell you like Mad Max. I was telling my group chat what your comic was. I was like, it's like Mad Max meets Norse mythology.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Jason, could you actually show the back?
Yeah, the back is unfinished. Look at that.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. No wonder. It's like, yeah, that's nice. But let's see those back muscles. Like, oh, okay.
You're like,
Yeah.
make him expose himself.
It was meant to be shown only one way. Let me grab a couple more pieces real quick. Sorry about having to separate and come back and forth.
Oh my gosh, this is making me want to sculpt.
Yeah, you made that sculpture out of one of my toys. Yeah, that arm.
Yeah.
That was the body of a robot.
Is that a son in the background being like, you took my toy and bashed it?
Everybody likes
Right.
El Gargoyle here with his eggplant. Hello, welcome. Say comics like ABC Warriors.
Okay, because everybody loves Jesus. I had to do my own version of Jesus. This is monster clay. It's very
just
mini.
about to ask.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
monster clay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was
Here,
facing
you can-
away and you were mentioning it. I honestly expected to see some Gatling gun arms and stuff when I look at it.
No, I did. I tried to do my best, like medieval version of Jesus, essentially. So, like, he's in the cross. I could essentially just stick him up on the wall, just like this.
Nice.
And what else do you guys want to see? You want to see the big William Burroughs I did, or
Is
mean,
it
whichever-
the bust?
Whichever
Yeah.
you
I
want.
don't know, just whatever you think is cool. More
because I guess,
draggers
like-
would be nice.
It's hard to tell from here. Whatever you want to show.
Yeah.
It looks like he's got one with a bunch of arms up there. That's got me curious.
I hope
The one with the arms! I just want to see more draggers. This is really making me want to get back to sculpting. Oh my god, I'm never going to get this comic done.
It's not a good idea to say that on stream.
No! Okay, chapter 1 is already done, okay? I'm talking about talking about the whole comic in general.
Oh my god. You do have like 50 projects, Irene, that you keep working on at the same time.
I don't! I only have Fiendish. What are you talking about?
Okay, so she's talking about chapter 2. Okay, so one.
Yeah, I literally only have Fiendish and like I take commissions sometimes. That's it. It's just I have a day job.
You have 50 projects within Fiendish, is what we're saying.
Oh yeah. I mean, I do get a little too excited about everything, but
Flushed.
why
There you
aren't
go.
there 48 hours in a day so I can do everything I want? Look at that. Oh yeah, your camera's a little grainy. Oh my god, the hair comes
The hat comes off.
Yay!
I love it.
Sweet. That's so great.
So this is William Burroughs,
Stylish. Yeah.
and I love William Burroughs. He was a beat writer back in the day of Jack Kerouac, and so he wrote Naked Lunch and Junkie, and anyways, he's an author, so and a writer, and I love him. So I did that. Here's another Dragar.
Yay!
And this one has
It
a
just-
satellite attached to its back.
Hey, just when you're sculpting these ones, because the thing is just that for me, over here in Colombia, it's just inaccessible to even get super sculpty. When you combine them with these metallic pieces, do you actually put them in the oven together, or do you have to wait after the fact that you have already let those pieces dry to assemble them all together?
So I use epoxy clay, not super sculpty. Some of it, like I think that first one had some super sculpty on it, but I ended up covering it in epoxy clay. But I did everything, like I cooked the sculpture before I started applying all the plastic kit bashing parts. So when I ended up doing all the kit bashing and adding all the parts, I used like hot glue, the Gorilla Glue type stuff that works really well. Essentially to build up all this stuff. Some of this is actually even like real cloth that I wrapped around them and painted. Some of it is real wire that was drone parts. I actually, this right here is a drone motor for my drone. So
That's cool.
some of the parts actually could go, like my drone motor. That thing's all metal. It could go in there.
Okay. Yeah, when I thought that you had Sculpey, I was kind of wondering because back when I had my hands on it, I tried to avoid using different materials on top of each other because I was afraid of maybe metallic pieces retaining too much heat and maybe having the rest of the epoxy, the Sculpey recede and stuff. And over here, I can get epoxy, but like in very small quantities at a time.
I mean, like
Where are
house
you?
fixing epoxy instead of sculpting epoxy.
Yeah, because there's no sculpting places around here. The only thing that you can find to be able to make something of that size that is actually reasonably priced would be porcelanicron, which is, I think in the US is called cold porcelain. But obviously it's air dries, but it bends too much with the air.
But we're in Colombia, by the way.
Yeah.
British Columbia or Columbia
No,
fucking
Colombia,
Columbia,
South America.
Yeah, South America.
Like South America, fucking Colombia. Oh, okay. Okay, so no wonder it's hard getting stuff. I was wondering, like, I was going Colombia, like British Columbia, like you should be able to get all this shit. Oh my god.
I've offered to ship them stuff, but they're like, no, shipping doesn't work.
Shipping works, but it is really too expensive to ship stuff. So I'm always trying to like improvise, see what I can do for sculpting and stuff.
So here's what you need to do if you want to sculpt. You need to not do traditional sculpting. You probably need to do digital sculpting. And if you digitally sculpt, you can just get yourself a resin printer and start printing your own stuff, which, yes, it'll be expensive to get some of that stuff to you. You'll be the coolest kid probably in Colombia. But that being said, if it's so hard to get some of that material, I would just try to find other means of doing it, short of learning how to sculpt in like concrete or plaster or things like that. Like that's like I don't know what, like you can't find epoxy clay. You can't really get too much Sculpey. It's probably expensive.
Yeah, I think I've been considering plaster, and I know of a few places that I can actually get good quantities of it. But yeah, just the fact that it's like it's a combination of things. For that, at least for plaster, for me, is a big part of the issue is just how heavy it is. That is, and especially since we have such a small apartment, I've been trying to steer away from it just because it's really hard to keep something so that it doesn't, constantly clash against something else or crack.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you tried looking into like some of the monster clays that I use are waxes, and they can actually be reused over and over again?
Is that the one that is kind of like green?
The green stuff that you're talking about is called Chavant, and that's just the color of it. The monster clay I was talking about is kind of brown, and it's a food grade wax compared to a Chavant is much heavier than wax. So monster clay is kind of soft and smooth, whereas Chavant clay, which is the standard mostly in the professional industry if you're doing large props and shit like that, it's kind of grainy. And
that's the reddish thing. That's the reddish type of clay, right? It looks like dark.
It's red and green. You can get red and green, and it's not Sculpey so much as it feels like sand that has like a fine sand with a binder in it, and it.
Oh, okay.
It does not make me happy to sculpt with it. Over time that the oils in it tend to leach or dry up, and then it cracks. Whereas,
why is it the industry standard then?
because you can get so much detail out of it, and like you're making a casting out of what you're doing anyways.
Oh,
So
yeah, I guess it doesn't matter if it cracks after
it's
once you
also-
cast it.
It's probably also about like just like short-term use instead of just having it linger there as a long-term like display piece.
right. So I mean, you could display stuff for a long time with monster clay because the wax is super stable. Let me show you an example. Hold on. Another example.
I
Yay,
think I've heard about-
sculpting stream!
I think I've heard about
I
monster
was not
clay.
expecting this, but this is awesome.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
No, I think I've heard monster clay actually be mentioned in some of the like online order websites around here, so they're actually affordable. Like I think in Mercado Libre, I sometimes hear about it. There's no store for this stuff around here, but at least I think I could actually order that thing and not break the bank.
So this is the brown wax that I call monster clay, and I happen to paint this and airbrush it with alcohol-based inks. I've had this for 5 years.
Oh, okay.
It's
Real pretty.
It's dusty. It's dusty.
Can't tell. Can't tell with the camera right now.
You can't tell, and I think it's like bonded to this. You can see I have a hole in it where there's a piece of PVC on the inside of this, and I can bet that there's probably aluminum foil on the inside of this head.
Did you use foil as is it like, do you use metal or plastic armature and then foil and then the clay on top?
It depends on what clay I'm using, but yes, I do that sometimes to save weight, or to bulk something out so I don't use as much clay over the top. So as you can see, this is super stable, even painted, and it'll melt if I put it out in the sun. This thing would become unstable and possibly melt.
Oh,
But-
does it? Do you bake it or does it just air dry?
No,
And-
there's no air dry. This, if I wanted to right now, I could take the whole bottom part of this off here, just pull it apart.
Oh, so it just never settles.
It never dries. It never does. It's
Ugh.
constantly.
Oh, okay, so it's not, if you want to make something permanent, you don't use this.
Well, you can. I mean,
But you
Yeah,
Yeah,
be
but I'd
careful with it.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
looks so easily damaged, just by accident.
oh yeah, if I took it and just dropped it on the ground right now, it would be completely deformed. But it's stable enough that I can hold it like this and not do anything to it.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay.
It literally, this is kind of hard. You
Mm-hmm.
know, bend it over if I wanted to, just like this. See, right, and then I can put it right back.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay, I can see why that's the industry standard then. I mean, if
But-
you're gonna
but
cast
this is-
something, it doesn't.
This
it's
is wax, and
temporary.
you would essentially cast it when you were done with it, and that's it. But because you're in a specific place like that, it would be very hard to get some of the things you're talking about for cheap prices. And
No, yeah, but like you said, this is really good for casting, especially at least to get reproductions out of it, and that way
Oh,
you
yeah.
can just rip it off and just do something new.
Mhm.
but in that case, you might as well just ZBrush, man. So you
I guess so. And
You're gonna have to
I-
get a new computer that can handle it first.
yeah,
you know how to draw, right? So,
No, yeah, and I am used to use. I might not have used ZBrush, but I have started actually delving with some online sculpting things back in college, so I could get back
Nice.
into it.
ZBrush is
Yeah.
very intuitive if you know how to sculpt by hand.
I hear, yeah.
We gotta
It's-
make sure that we mention your computer problems once every stream.
I will make sure it's mentioned. Everybody back Fiender so you can help Nick get a new computer.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't realize that you were going to get us a new computer as part of one of Phoenix's goals.
Oh no!
Stretch
Well,
goals,
listen,
that
that wasn't a stretch goal, okay? Listen, and
your stretch
I don't
goal
know
should be
how good a
buy
friend I
your
want to be.
computer.
But you can do more work for me.
So
Want a
funny.
color chapter 2? Come on.
Two new contributions. Wow, how nice are you guys? I really
Oh yeah,
appreciate it.
124 and 125. I think they said.
Cool.
Nice.
Geez,
Deserve it.
I guess we should probably just stop us drooling over Jason's stuff. I think nobody else has gotten a chance to introduce themselves.
Yeah, you guys should totally introduce yourselves. And
We're 40 minutes in and we're like, oh my god, sculptures! Wait, we're here talking about comics.
That was cool.
But no,
Yeah.
that was awesome.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah, I mean, I want to see more of it. So I do a bunch of other art stuff. I do like woodwork and some leather work, but also some sculpting. And I'm kind of all over the place. I incorporate some of the woodworking and like the pyrography into my campaign for Fiendish. But I want to get back to sculpture, and I don't have stuff that's as cool as you. But here's my Casimir piece that is never gonna get done.
It's
but
really good.
It's been just like this for like a year, but this is my main character, Phoenix. I swear I'm gonna finish it because I want to get it casted.
Nice.
I want to get back doing sculpture stuff. So that was super inspiring to see that you're doing that. Yeah.
I was
Thank you.
interested in the 3D printing part in particular, and how some of those, I right around here, like specifically here, we 3D print and then later have actual motorcycle parts. Yeah, some of the fastest race bikes in the nation. We prototype some parts right here.
Oh, you prototype motorcycle
Yeah.
parts by 3D
Yeah.
printing? Yo, that's
But
a plus.
but more pertinent than I mean, yeah. Be that as it may, I have some understanding of what's going on, and but I was also lucky enough to be privy to just basically. Well, I hung out with 3D Robin while he was doing the Cyberfrog, the PVCs for Cyberfrog and Salamandroid. When he was modeling those,
Nice.
yeah, me and him were working on some other stuff, and we would talk about what we were working on while he was doing that, and I'd just be like, share your screen, dude. This is better than Saturday morning cartoons. I'm like, I mean, I know my way around some Photoshop and some InDesign and this and that. That what you're doing right now, I know my way around some free works and some 3D printing, but all that stuff's very fascinating. So
You want to see one more thing before I let you guys get into your
Oh
stuff?
yeah, show us more. Real quick, Ascendant Stoic says Blender is a decent alternative for ZBrush for sculpting, considering what it offers for free and the active add-ons community. I have heard good things about Blender. Well, what's your opinion on it?
I don't use Blender, but I've heard it's really good, and I heard it's good for modeling like hard surface stuff. And I like it. I've heard people who love it, but I'm a little more organic.
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys laughing or something? What's going on?
I don't know. Are we?
No, I haven't heard anything.
What's going on? I heard
was a
weird
weird-
stuff. It's
It's the
weird.
voices in our heads. It's okay. It happens to me sometimes too. I hear strange laughter
so
coming
bizarre.
out of nowhere. Yeah,
So
it's fine.
are you looking at my screen?
Yeah,
Oh
we
yeah,
can see
yeah.
this.
I can see the tentacle lady.
Yeah. So this is what I pictured a artificial pregnancy would be like in the 1500s, and
Just Eldritch.
like a weird ritualistic cult. Like
Yeah.
and she's like the lady of tentacle of the house.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Aren't they all?
Interesting.
all done in
Yeah, that's
This looks like
that's
something that
how
would show
all
up in the
ladies are.
Marquise comic.
Yeah, man, totally. I love that fucking comic. That comic's
Yeah.
awesome.
It happens again and again. You meet a nice girl, things go well, you do a little traveling, you have a little fun, you attempt to settle down, the next thing you know, that's what's waiting for you inside the house when you get home.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
they just had tentacles under there. You just never noticed all the
It's just over and over.
That's right.
The thing.
I've heard the stories.
Me and Joe Benitez are working on some stuff together.
Mhm.
And I'm doing a mechanical version, like a mech suit of his Panda Girl character. So
Cute.
it's all VW parts that I'm like wrapping the thing in. So like VW hood.
I'm saying, because I'm seeing the front fenders. The front fenders are the hips.
Right.
I've
right.
also ran across some girls like that. And I think that I don't really set up house with those. But yeah, I see the trunk lid on the back.
Yeah, so I'm using the parts.
Oh, the hood. The hood is the fupa. Holy
Yep.
shit! The hood is the
Isn't that-
fupa.
I was like,
Isn't
Steve's
that
gonna
right?
jump in right now. Oh my god, car parts.
I hadn't heard that one in a while, Fupa.
And then
I know that was terribly crass of me, but I couldn't help it.
Is that crass? It's just an unusual word for me. I've only heard it like a couple of times.
I
never heard that.
regret having used an acronym like that in a public setting. That's all I can say.
We are not censored here. All's good.
Oh wait,
That's
it's an
so
acronym?
funny.
It actually stands for something? I just heard people just refer to just like someone's gut as a fupa. I thought it was because of just a sound.
There's an acronym there that you can work out if you want. But let's just
fat
move on.
Upper panda area, fat fupa, fat upper panda area.
Panda
So-
area. Yeah, that's.
That sounds about right.
Let's just move on. Let's just move on. I regret the reference.
Sorry,
Oh.
YouTube gods.
Oh, I get what he's saying. I'm fucking stupid. What the hell?
I mean, at least
Yeah.
I'm
Oh, panda
not
area,
being
you're
a native
right.
speaker, so I actually have to Google
I
that.
think it's pelvic. Pelvic.
Well, it's an inventive use of car parts, and
Pelvic.
yeah, that's quite representative. Be sure. That's
I thought it would be perfect, and at some point, that mech will show up in a background character in my World of Hammer.
Cool.
That's cute.
cool.
Yeah, that
Cool.
was
No,
awesome.
That was really cool, yeah.
I want a
Thank you.
drugger. Ah,
You do, or do you want one of the little ones?
the little
Like
ones.
The little ones. The little ones are the best. So
Look at the
I'll
little
let you
one.
know when or I can give you one of these. Like, do you want one of these?
Either is fine. I like the two-headed ones.
Okay. Do you want me
You're
to?
gonna give me a plain one so I can paint it?
Of
That'd be
course.
awesome.
Yeah.
Oh,
I could
dude,
do that.
yeah, if you get that from Jason and paint it, we definitely have to integrate it in one of the games. Make it a
It'll be huge. It'll be a giant like cyborg thing. Oh my god, it could be part of our like the northern campaign.
These
that's what I
are
mean.
actually
Starfinder.
being designed.
Go ahead, Jason. What's up?
We're gonna nerd out about D&D.
These are actually being designed for the Hammer game. So there'll be 52 millimeter versions of this, or whatever it is, 54 millimeter and 100 millimeter for me. Like the cell.
So is that, how big is that? Is that like 1 inch at the base? Is like the
Here, I'll
standard
show you.
kind of
Let me
game
go. Let me go. I printed one, so I can show you. I'll be right back.
Let's see.
We've
Okay, now we're
already
gonna
thought-
start nerding out about gaming. This is never gonna end.
We've
Well,
already thought-
when you said that you're gonna get one, I was like, oh, geez, yeah. When we visit Irene, we have to paint it, and we can make a campaign about it being a mechanical engine.
Yeah,
No.
anytime we see figurines or toys, they're like, how can we integrate this into
No.
Pathfinder and D&D?
Well, it's a more Irene. You might say that it might be nerdy, but it's also my socially acceptable way of just playing around with toys in front of my friends.
I don't.
Oh, we know that. We know that.
I don't want. We've already fought Draugr in our games, and we almost died. I don't want to fight a giant mech Draugr. That sounds horrifying.
Yeah, that's cool.
So
Okay,
this
so that's the
is
printed
Oh,
one, right?
yeah.
this is the game piece sized
size.
version of
Nice.
that same Dragar we were just looking at. So,
I like how
let's
prepared
see
you
if it
are.
can
You're
run.
like, here's the backing board so you can see it clearly. You can tell it's
No, it's
That's
like,
right.
this is the inside of the
so
Right.
it survived. So 100 millimeter, 54 millimeter.
Oh,
okay,
that's
okay.
the nice thing about 3D printing is you can
Yeah, you can
print at
actually
any
resize
size.
stuff.
Yeah, like I much prefer traditional hand sculpting, but then it's like, well, if you want to reproduce it, it's so
Yeah.
much easier to do it digital.
I'm actually with a project that we're doing with a friend. We're actually considering, it's like, okay, well, maybe you can, since we both like sculpting by hand better, maybe we can like make them and not make them too detailed, so we can actually use a 3D scanner to make them into a file and then 3D print them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking. I know it's a pain in the
photogrammetry.
ass, but
Photogrammetry usually requires that you do some sculpting in
You're gonna need to polish it up, but
Yeah.
since both him and I are not too fond of 3D sculpting, it's like, well, that minimizes the amount of 3D sculpting that we will have to do, and we can just make sculpting by hand most of the time.
That's true. That is true. I fought it too for a long time. I was a traditional sculptor for like 8 or 9 years. So like I still every once in a while will like do, something like this, which is Rosario Dawson. I tried to do.
Yeah, I can
looks
see
like
that.
Nice.
It's Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, because I was just like, my reaction is
that
like,
is
that
her
sounds
face.
like the name of a famous person. Yes,
Yeah, it's Ahsoka.
But you're supposed to know all these things, Nick.
I know.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I realized like when I did it, as I've looked at it, because I took, I don't know, an hour or two a day, like over a month, to just try to make it symmetrical, right? And I do this a lot anyway. This thing isn't
automated at a certain point, right?
now. If you look at it forward, it looks symmetrical.
Mhm.
Okay, but the more I turn this and I do this, you'll see that one of her eyes is lower than the other one.
Mm-hmm.
You're right.
Yeah.
But like real natural human faces aren't perfectly symmetrical.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
there's
but-
a little bit of like imperfection that I like about sculpting by hand.
Mhm.
It's not okay though. So
Okay.
It's not okay.
it's not okay. It's not okay. Like it looks like her, but it's not okay. It's not fucking done. It's not perfect. It's not like what it should.
It is a lot of work that you're saving yourself by doing it digitally.
Spoken
What
like
if-
a true perfectionist.
What if
'Cause you're gonna-
Rosario
it's just-
Dawson has an asymmetrical face?
Oh, honey, that's not the point.
What if?
You know what?
I'm sure her face
You know
isn't
what?
perfectly symmetrical.
Yeah, I'm
That's
sure she
not
does.
asymmetrical in that
Next,
way.
next time I'm doing the Elephant Man, I'll break out the clay. Okay, but most people have fairly symmetrical faces, and I would rather have a computer help me at
Oh,
this
people
point.
I see around here, let me tell you.
So
No kidding.
I-
Beg to defer.
You don't
Wow,
get
that
out
was a
much,
low
do
blow,
you,
Irene.
fella? Yeah, like
Did-
that.
Listen, I'm in Georgia. I can say it.
it's really kind of funny because symmetry actually is like the more symmetrical something is, the more beautiful it is. It's kind of funny because it creates this, but the more you look into it, like let's say we were to break down Scarlet Johansson's face.
Man, who hasn't thought about doing that?
Well, I just so happen to sculpt.
Go there.
I happen to be able to and
Who
have the
hasn't thought about
chance
skinning Scarlett Johansson.
to traditionally sculpt her. And when I broke it down into its smaller parts as I started to like do it, I noticed that not only does she not have a perfectly symmetrical face, okay, like there is things going on with her face which are very different than other women's, but
Imperfections can be sublime.
yeah, this imperfect. She has a bulbous nose. Okay, she has a bulbous nose. She has like a little butt nose. Okay, and nobody even sees it because they're too busy looking at her eyes. But she has this little flattened out button like nose,
Well, it
and
goes up a little bit like that, and she's
Yeah,
got like a
but
funny
it's-
chin.
so flat. Like it has this, and she. Once you strip away the whole like peach skin color of her and you turn it like all gray and you're looking at it like clay, all that beauty goes away. And it's all of those imperfections that make her up. But there's a symmetricalness to her face. Okay, that if you hit it, you don't even have to add those imperfections to know it's her. Okay, but but in her case, her imperfections make her face. When you don't get that nose right, you know it. So go over to Sideshow Collectibles and look at the Black Widow sculpture that they have at Sideshow, and you can see that the artist like nailed the rendition of her because it has that little heart-shaped nose that she has. So it's cool. I know to look for it too because I studied it. I like broke it down into little pieces and said her face does this, it does this, it does this.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's funny, but I do believe like the more symmetrical something it is, the more beautiful it usually is. But in her case, her imperfections are what kind of are the attractive part of her.
Well,
it's like Shelley Duvall.
Well, her face is pretty symmetrical, but I think she has some features that makes her stand out from like the standard, you know, what you would think of as the standard like Andrew Loomis beauty, like beautiful face, but that helps her. She has like the right amount of uniqueness.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
it makes her, I think it helps her stand out because it's not like too much, but it's just a little, it sets her apart.
Yeah, it's not like weird Angelina Jolie.
Yeah.
I usually find chicks that are a little off center are the hottest. And that's probably why my relationships crash and burn in the end. But yeah.
Like you mean exterior or like mentally?
You know, one leads to the other. They're so closely intertwined.
Yeah, that's true. Oh my God, we're just.
Well, it's human nature to like symmetry. But
it is. It's like inbuilt. It's psychological.
Well, yeah, but
right.
You can still.
Isn't it called the golden ratio or something?
I think Adrian Brody has a great nose.
Well,
how about
I think that's
Clive Owen? Clive Owen.
It's supposed to just be a generalization because you can make it something massively appealing by just making it, as I said, just symmetrical. There's clearly variations on that, and there's taste. Just like when Jason was bringing this up, like when he was saying, like, oh, immediately said something symmetrical, beautiful. Like I couldn't help but think, like, yeah, but I'd rather just look at some weird monster with tentacles writhing all over than Scarlet Johansson's face.
Okay, so
well,
like,
you're special. You're like barely human.
Beauty on that, like, because I really like innovation and form and organicness, but it is something that you will immediately be able and guarantee that a majority part of an audience will like.
Right.
I guess I think that once you get completely symmetrical, you risk taking the personality out of a face. I think.
Yes, absolutely. You would, but because you've at least refined the foundation to that point where it's completely symmetrical, then you can feel good about altering it and adding those characteristics afterwards.
I guess the base has to be fairly symmetrical.
That's right. So, or else you end up with an eye that's all freaking lopsided like the sculpture I did. So,
because like when you were saying like no, when Jason was like, oh, it's wrong. It's like you're just like, no, it's fine. It's like, it's more about the artistry of being able to get it to be right more than adding personality and making this a character. It's not a character, it's a face.
Right. I'm doing a face. I'm actually replicating something that already exists. So I'm not trying to put my personality on it. I'm not trying to put my inaccurate artist stuff on it. I'm just trying to replicate it as close as humanly possible so that I can essentially learn from it. Like this is all learning for me. Like I don't take all this stuff seriously. This isn't serious. This is art. Art is meant to express yourself and have fun.
It's fun. Yeah.
Yes.
Man, I like that. What's the Japanese word for forever? Man, sometimes my filing cabinet drawers get stuck, but there's a word in Japan that I've spoken to some engineers and stuff about. And it's about, always learning. Always finding out what you don't know, the continual process of realizing just how stupid you are and how much more there is you could figure out and try.
And the Japanese know this most of all. Like they start everything with foundation, right? Everything is foundation and it has to be perfect. The foundation has to be perfect in order to build up from that. So
it makes me think about that. How much training is it that you actually need to have in order to actually have the status of a sushi chef? I think it was like
a million hours or something.
It's insane. It's insane.
I tend to think if you're going to be good at something, 10,000 hours is probably low. That's the Western thing.
Is opposed to like work under a chef. in order to even get yourself the title. And when I was looking on it, it says that they said like one of the most important things is like you need to know how to make the rice well, like that out of the sushi.
Yep.
And it's like, that is such an alien concept to me.
Yep, sushi rice, man. It is the hardest thing to make in the whole world, and I love rice. Like I make my wife go get me like real rice when we make rice, and the white like little short grain, like little. Has to be Japanese. Has to be. You don't
real
even
rice.
have to wash
Rice
it.
from other parts of the world don't count. You can't get long grain rice or South American rice.
No long grain rice. I like the short grain.
No
and the
Indian
roast
rice.
happy.
I agree on that. It's insane.
No jasmine rice.
I do prefer Asian rice as well, because that's what I grew up with. So.
Yeah,
Right.
I
It's the
grew
only
with
real type of rice.
I grew up with the Colombian rice. So I just like all rice. I can't say I'm picky. I love it, but I will probably eat what people consider to be very low quality rice.
Like Indian style rice or South American rice weirds me out. I'm like, this isn't real rice. I'm used to like it has to be cooked like Chinese style, a little sticky as well.
For me, I actually prefer dry rice, but for me, I think I am that snobby with coffee. Because when we went to the U.S. and I lived there for a while, I was like, man, after living in Colombia, all of this is swill.
That's very Colombian of you to say, but I understand.
Jesus,
That's fair
you
enough.
get the best. You get the best coffee and cocaine in the world.
Coffee and cocaine. That's all you need.
I don't know about that, Jason. I think it's all the other countries that order it that gate the cocaine.
Oh yeah, you have a point.
Manufacturer so that it fuels the military.
Nobody uses it there. They just export it. Is what you're saying?
A big part of it, yeah.
That's amazing.
In all things.
You need to switch that around. Maybe your life would be more fun.
Everybody calm down. Let's just profess our moderation in all things, kids.
That's
I think it was like
dad mode is kicking in. He's like moderation.
I'm just like thinking, well, this is taking a weird direction.
No, I like.
I don't want to get into cocaine war stories.
No. All right, let me get some chats. We're behind on a couple of chats. So John says, "Hello all, hi, hello. Wilberforce Wooster is here. Krika betrayed you. Why did Krika betray you?" Creatives Outlet says, "Hello all." Earlier, what's up?
I like Wilberforce Wooster.
Yvonne is here. Hi. Why are you in the chat and not in the call? I have one more space. You can come on if you want. Come help. Talk about rice and cocaine and coffee. It's fun. It's a fun stream. Arrogant ape. It's a land of uppers. That's true.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yes, it is. I'd love to visit sometime. Oh my gosh. What's going on, Jason?
That's me. I'm trying to clean my computer.
I was like, suddenly he headed outside, and where are you?
It's all dusty. I'm in my
West Coast. He's West Coast AF.
Oh, he's West Coast. I was like, it's still bright outside. You have to be in California.
Yeah, I live in California. I live in Orange County.
Oh man,
it's Orange County looking digs. I knew as soon as I saw the sun was out, and then I saw the flashing or the skirting on the roof line. I'm like, that dude's like in San Diego or maybe in Orange. I don't know. Maybe he's in Huntington. Maybe he's a big dude living in Huntington.
Nope, I'm in Cypress, California, right below.
Cypress is all right, brother. Those are good digs. Good for you.
Yeah. This is still middle class.
Yeah, man.
Where I live.
Yeah,
so
you're all right. Yeah. You're all right.
It's a good place.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the area. You're good.
Nice. Where are you?
I'm over on I used to be SoCal, but now I'm North Florida.
Oh, you're in Florida. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You're
I'm
not
over here on the other coast now, bro. But yeah, those were I was Dana Point, Long Beach, San Pedro.
Oh, right up the range.
Huntington Rat for a while. So yeah.
They have some good food up there in San Pedro.
Yeah. San Pedro, man, that was good times, but nobody cares about all that shit other than you and me, brother. But yeah, I know about your neighborhood. I used to be inland all the time, riding dirt bikes on the coast all the time, riding the surfboard and, occasional neighbor girl. That kind of thing.
that's about how it was back here back in the day. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I actually have a lot of family who lives in Florida, so they themselves are left California and decided that Florida was going to be their home, and I just can't reside myself to a place that has giant reptiles and fucking humidity.
No, they're cool, dude. What you do is, if you live on the water, and then what you do is every now and again, if it sounds like all the frogs are out, they're not frogs, they're alligators, and they're just like croaking. And what you do is you get a good sized, I mean, you know, the kind of chain you'd use for a good sized dog. All right. Then you get you a little 3-pronged grappling hook, and you put a raw chicken from the supermarket on that hook. And then you swing it up there, and you throw it out in the water.
I am
And then
learning
what
so
happens
much.
is they grab the chicken and they try to take it down with the death roll.
Right.
And what they actually do is wrap themselves up in the chain, and then you get the neighbor to help you, and you throw it in the back of the truck and drive it about 30 to 40 miles, pitch it out, and it's somebody else's problem. It's easy.
Amazing. The
I
more you
figured-
know.
Why can't we just eat it? Like, I know you can eat them.
They do that in New
You
Orleans.
can. Even in Atlanta, there were actually restaurants where they served alligator.
Yeah,
Oh
alligator tail ain't,
yeah, I
alligator
had
tail
it in
ain't
New
bad.
Orleans. That was
It
good.
ain't a whole lot better than rattlesnake, but it ain't a whole lot worse than chicken.
Well,
It's
we
fine.
don't want
It's
to. We
fine.
probably don't want to eat Florida like alligators. They're probably methed up or something.
Well, they're jacked,
Yeah,
you know.
there
Yeah.
you go. That's what you do in Florida, right?
Yeah.
I just assume once you move to Florida, you just like it's like going to Australia. You just learn to like toughen up. It's like you're constantly
Don't eat
ready
the
for death,
alligators.
ready to fight for your life.
There's
If I didn't usually have a dog, you know, I mean, I don't want the alligator getting my dog. Other than that, fuck it,
Right.
let the alligator be an alligator.
I'm not too
I'm not
worried
getting my
about
dog, and I'm not down with that. So you just gotta, sometimes you gotta wrap them up in a chain and
toss them.
haul them down the Ocala National Forest and let them out.
And
We
let
didn't
'em
really
go.
have that kind of it being that common for them to be around like rural areas. But I remember in Brazil, there were certain rivers where crossing by them, you could constantly see alligators. And so people would go up to the edge and just like feed them stuff and take pictures. That like I feel like
Mostly they're cool.
the only real animal that would like be dangerous that would like actually show up would just be the amount of scorpions that were around there. So they would even one of the things that you would learn as a little kid would be to always check your shoes.
Right. Right.
For what they call there as against.
Yeah.
I grew up camping a lot. And we always checked our shoes. It was
Yeah.
one of the things up in Kernville, where I'd always go camping. It was very common to get those little tiny scorpions.
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
just
If you're
watch out.
out at Glamis or Beaumont or some of them
Yeah.
high desert type places, and
Yeah.
yeah,
I
before
checked
you
my
put,
shoes
before you put your
wherever.
boots on in the morning and go riding, you like look in them.
Yeah.
Because I'm used to thinking about that when we went to like the family farm or something here in Colombia. Over
Right.
in Brazil, you could be in an urban environment and scorpions would just like on you coming regardless.
Right. No, my grandmother's house was right up in Kernville, and it's a very rural. It's rural around there, but all the houses are all packed together where she lives, like in the town where she lived, which was Wooford Heights. So literally, it was 10 minutes to go fishing, but every once in a while, the brazenest little tiny scorpion would come into the house. And it just would. You'd find it on the wall or something, and it would just do its thing. And I was never worried about them. I would be much more worried about an alligator. They're a little more aggressive.
My friends had a pet scorpion. If you leave them alone, you're fine.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the scorpion. I'm more worried about the thing with all
They're
the
kinda
fucking
cute.
teeth and the tail. And
I feel like
It's
at the
gonna-
same time, just like I feel like an alligator is more noticeable. Like,
right,
yeah, you know, like
It's also a little, it's slightly more
the fear of
deadly.
the fear of the scorpion is not that there's a scorpion, shit,
Right.
I'm going to die. It's more like, oh shit, there was a scorpion. I
right.
guess now I have to go to the hospital. shit. But there's whole hospitals nearby, and the roads are horrible if I live in a rural area. That's the fear. Like, when I see them, it's like, okay, I know I can figure out how to deal with the animal.
Right. Well, yes, it is easier to notice an alligator than a scorpion. That's one. Number two, scorpion bites or stings can be painful. Most of the scorpions we deal with up in the high desert aren't too bad. They're
I
not
was about
going
to say, are they deadly? I don't think they're.
No,
I haven't
they're not.
heard that they're dead because I lived in Texas and people were like, "Yeah, it hurts,
On a
but
give or
you'll be
take,
fine."
it ain't a lot worse than a stingray, but it ain't something you really want to go through.
Right.
Yeah.
It's and I agree.
Stung by them.
It's I deal with scorpions the same way I deal with tarantulas. I just let them do their thing. I just let them go.
That's
They're
the
doing
way to
good,
handle
guys.
most wildlife.
Yeah,
Mostly
I'm
you'll
a
be
loose
fine.
leaf shit alone. Seems to work out pretty well, but I will shake my boots out from a calamus.
I
For
checked
sure.
my shoes in Taiwan, but it wasn't for scorpions. It was for centipedes because it's
It is
a tropical island. Ah,
Centipede.
that was fun.
It being Latin America, we do have a few breeds of deadly scorpions, so it's not just pain.
Oh, okay. So South America is the place where everything's really trying to kill you.
That and Australia. Like everything
true.
in Australia has evolved to kill things.
Just the whole
Except-
southern hemisphere. What the
Except
hell happened?
koalas. Except koalas. They're the only thing that don't do anything, really.
Oh,
I thought koalas were vicious. Am I wrong? Am I forgetting one?
They're assholes to each other. I don't think they
Like,
attack
koalas
people.
barely even move during the day because they have such a low metabolism.
And they're dicks to each other.
They're
And they're
just
just weird.
They're
not
dicks
dangerous.
and
Right,
raping
video that I saw,
each other.
Yeah.
most of their day is consumed by sleeping and shitting, and they have like 2 hours of the day where they actually are active.
Don't they feed their poop to their young? They're really weird animals.
Oh god, no.
Australia is so strange.
That
This
sounds
is
like
what we're
my
here to talk
uncle.
about, everyone. Welcome to my show.
That
Koala
sounded like
poop.
my uncle, that he's only awake to eat and poop during the day.
What
I was
about
about to say feeding poop to their young.
No,
Which part of that previous sentence were you saying was like your uncle?
Yeah, back when my parents
It's
were
like, I know family members like that too.
yeah, that just poop and just eat a few things and then go disappear.
Eat their own poop.
Yes.
Yeah, we
Yes,
all have
yes.
this one in every family.
Wow. That's amazing.
Or is that just me?
They're high. Who said we're high? We're not high. Nobody's high. I'm
They're
smoking
high?
cigarettes. That's nicotine. I'm hoping for cancer.
I might be.
Yvonne says scorpions, big stingy and claws, no problem. Little ones better have a big hot. Oh, the little ones are the dangerous ones.
Yeah,
They're like
the
chili.
little ones
They're like
are the
chili
dangerous
peppers.
ones.
It's the same. It's the same thing as with jellyfish. You want to be really afraid of the little ones, not the big ones.
For those who
Yeah,
don't know,
the-
Yvonne is also from Colombia.
Yep.
I know the name of the tiniest jellyfish in the world. It's what, the irukandji is the name of it. So, or it's called the Colorex infleckeri. That's the Latin name of it, and it's like this big. It's like this little tiny guy right
Is it
here.
like super deadly?
It's no, it'll make you wish you were dead though.
I don't remember the names of them, but like the only jellyfish that I remember is colloquially known as the golden thread, and I only know it because it's the one that actually grabbed my sister, because it's got a small head, but the thing is that its tendrils are really really long and thin, so you don't see them coming, and then you get completely wrapped up on them, and so my sister got hit by one of those things and was just kind of like grappled in there before we were
geez.
drag her out.
Yeah,
That's
I had
not
to.
nice.
I got stung by a Portuguese man of war and had to.
Oh, those are
Get
huge.
a-
I thought that those
get
were.
a-
I thought that those usually were like really off in, out to sea.
I was in Hawaii, so
Oh,
that's
There
how
you go.
that happened.
Lesson learned: don't go to Hawaii.
So
Okay,
it
we
was-
do
Go ahead.
have to. Havoc has 6 hours left, so
Right.
Yeah,
I
somebody
do want to
buys
come
Super
back to
Havoc.
talking about jellyfish, but like Vault has been sitting here and Havoc is rapping tonight, so I want to get showing
I
everybody
do have some
this.
jellyfish
Sorry
stand
about that.
stories, but Yeah, just to say.
No, I'm having so much fun too. But I'm like, oh my god, I don't want Walter to just be sitting there. It's like, why am I not on this stream? So, dude, he's been quiet for some time. And I'm like, oh no.
I was
really
roboting real bad, so I was just working the computer trying to get everything working again.
Oh, you sound fine now. So, cool. Yeah, let's let's check out Havoc. You've been on the show before.
Vault's book.
Yes, let's pitch Vault's book. You've already pitched your book on the show, but since you're wrapping today, let's show everybody what you got.
Yeah,
And you also
time's
have
running
some.
out.
You put up some new stuff as well. You put up the plaques I did for you. Did those sell?
One sold last time I checked. I don't know about the other one.
Yay!
Let's see if we can sell the next
those
one
are cool.
before it closes.
How long does it take you to do one of those?
Let's see. I don't really time myself, but on top of all my other work, usually I can do like a couple every night if I like focus on it. Probably like to about 3 hours each.
You're nuts.
She's really talented, man. So I can imagine that she can just whip through those. So
not really. They take quite a while, but it's not as slow as you think.
I would have accepted any answer because my initial thought was, "There's no way this is cost effective in any."
No.
But I don't know. Yeah, I mean, if you can do one or two, I mean, they're cool.
How much are you charging for them?
I didn't charge them individually. What I did was I had a tier on Fiendish that was the book, all 3 posters, the demons, like the acrylic standee, and plus the plaque, and that was all for $100.
For 100? 100?
Yeah. Yes.
100.
Yes, 100. And people
And
told me
it takes you 3 to 4 hours to do one of those plaques.
No, about like 3 hours, not 4 hours.
Yeah, I have a hard time crunching those numbers too, but you know.
Yeah, I think
cool.
that's you're giving them a great deal. So next time,
it's a great deal. Let's put it that way.
you should probably put another 100 on that. So
that's what people have said. That it's like too little. It's also I wasn't expecting like people to like it so much that I don't have like way too many to do. But hey,
that's what I'm telling you.
That's just what happens.
It definitely serves as a good incentive for you to actually show off some of your other stuff, because I think maybe that's why Irene underpriced it. She has not. I don't think you've ever really sold any of your art that it's not comic book art.
Right.
Well, yeah, it's because nobody. I'm not like pissed about it. It's not like I'm losing that much money on it, and I like doing them. So it's just something for the next couple months. Every evening, I'm gonna be like pumping out a couple a day or so, But I think I'll charge more next time, and I'm just really happy that people get to see the. Let me actually share my screen so you know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Sure.
Right. That's kind of what I did with my Dragar, but I knew that if I priced him at $150, everybody was going to want one. Mm-hmm. So that's why I priced him at $400, because it takes me, a couple days to work one out and get it all going. So even though it's a couple hours a day, it still adds up in the long run. Yeah, you should be charging like another 100 on this. What the fuck?
Yeah, let's see. So this is the plasma tier is 100 for all this shit. I was like,
Dude.
it's. I just wanted people to see that I could do this thing, and it's like, 3 hours or so, I can cut it. But then I have like over 50 to make at this point, so that's fun.
And each have to be original, is what you're saying? Each has to be
more or less original. I think some of the designs will be similar, but it is original art.
I would have charged 100 more. So next time, you're gonna do that. Okay, next time you do that, and don't you dare charge less.
Okay. Yeah, I think I will charge more next time, but you don't know with these things. It's like I'm trying to charge more. I'm at the point where I'm trying to charge more for my art, but you never know. Like sometimes people will go like, "Oh, that's so expensive, like $450 for a commission or something." It's like, I spend so much freaking time on everything. I'm really, really detail oriented.
But that's the thing, because you spend so much time, you should get paid for your time, and if that means that you do less commissions because it takes more time to do them, but you get paid more, that's fine. It's not a big deal. So I think you should charge more. I'm sorry.
Well, I think she could charge more. I think there's a yin and yang there too, though. At the same time, where, at some point, any rational adult tries to put a value on their time spent on anything, but but it's either a sliding scale or a slippery scope to me. It's like sometimes I'm like, there's no way I would do that for that amount of money. And there's other times when I'm like, all right, I will do this, And yeah, and in her case, I mean, a little bit, I'm not actually going for the segue here, but fuck it, it's right there. I'm going to take it. Vault came to me with not just a idea for a story, but an actual story. And he also came to me with some money and said, is this enough money to hire somebody and make this book? And I'm like, pretty close. Let's get cracking, kid. Because he came to me with both. A lot of people come to me with story ideas, and you mentioned that earlier. They have a premise. And a premise is a beautiful thing. But then you got to wrap it around some sort of 3 or 5 act play that you can carry out in some set number of sequential pages and make page turns work and yada yada, right?
Yep. Exactly.
And then coming all the way back to our beautiful host here, they doing the plaques thing. Vault also had he's like, I've got this idea. He actually came to. I digress, but he came to me with a much more sweeping idea. And I'm like, that's way too ambitious for a first project. Let's what else you got? He's like, I got this. And I'm like, that would work. But then he also wanted to do this Trials and Triumphs thing, this novella thing. And I don't really know how that came together, other than him wanting to hire Pat Maxton to draw some things for his book. And then him saying, should we put it out? And then me crunching the numbers and thinking, it's it's buying 13 drawings is not the same thing as buying 48 pages of sequential art, and this might work. And so I did a little slapping it together, of course. Let's not overlook that, but I was saying this the other night. I'm going to shut up in just a minute, but the road to success can be different for anybody. Irene here with Fiendish, she's got the total package going on. The artwork's great. The story actually reads really well. Plus, she's a cute girl and all that stuff. So she's good to go.
That's what they're buying, not my comic.
The comic's really good. There are I don't want to get into that deal. The comic looks really good. Well, I mean, there's It's an odd marketplace where there is a lot of unrequited love going on. But in this case, the comic is really, really good. The comic is great.
It should be by Fiendish. This is a really good comic, and a cute girl wrote it and drew it.
It doesn't hurt.
Yay.
In your whole marketing plan, it doesn't hurt if you can be like giggly. It doesn't hurt.
Well, I am giggly, so okay.
Well, I'm just being,
Okay.
I mean, is anybody buying my book because I giggle? Do I look like I fucking giggle? Probably not even happening.
Maybe you do.
I don't think so.
Not right now.
I don't think I giggle much.
I do believe there was a writer who, at one point in his life, decided that he wanted to write for Marvel. And I don't remember his name. He's fairly famous, but I do remember at some point he took on a surname of a Asian woman to start.
I know the guy's name.
Start writing books, right?
Yeah.
And he did really
Just put
well.
a tub in water. Yeah.
And then of course he came out later after he became editor-in-chief at Marvel
After he effectively was in the chain of command that allowed himself to pay himself twice for being in the chain of command that allowed him to.
And I have so often thought if I was a blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl with big boobs, I would do better.
For reals, dude. Wouldn't life be like better?
But that being said, it is not a requirement that I have boobs to do a good job. So I still think I could sell a good book without, being a blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, by no means.
It doesn't help that I look like the epitome of like a white person, like in comics, who has been in comics for like 30 fucking years.
I mean,
Okay,
not
well,
really.
Let
But
me get back on track with my point, because all of a sudden it's starting to sound like I said something. If you're not a hot chick, you can't sell comics. I don't think that's true.
it's about the work too, though. You can
just
sell
saying
something, but it's about whether the work is good at the end of the day.
And
I'm struggling to get to an analogy where I don't really know if the plaques she's doing make any fucking sense at all. They kind of don't to me, frankly, because I'm not a big Chomsky's guy. I'm a big book guy.
Right.
Same time, if we ever actually talk about it, there's a second tier on Havoc where there's this Trials and Triumphs thing, which is an illustrated novella. And I don't know if there's a market for that either. But I don't think that every single project, it'd be kind of nice and easy and orderly if everybody who achieved some level of success with this independent crowdfunding, like my work and I'll make more of it approach. But there's probably not. Ultimately everybody's going to have a different formula. You can look around and you can see. Well, I mean, you look around and you see what's wrong, but it's hard to figure out what's right because everybody's got a different deal.
Well, most books that actually fund don't usually go beyond 2 or 3 campaigns. They usually fall apart at some point, and we'll see if we can all withstand the test of time, regardless of how we went about doing it.
That's exactly how I see it. You talked earlier and was interesting because I think artists and writers are in you might be paddling the same direction, but it's definitely 2 different journeys. But I mean, I think it's just 2 different deals. Like with Vault here, this book's done. We got it done. He shouldn't even be ending the campaign yet, It's like, I'm like, no, just let it run 60 days. And he's like, fuck it, it's done.
No, why not? Why not run it 60 days? You guys could probably get another $4,000.
I couldn't talk him into it. He already did it. So we're going to have to, and I mean, this speaks to alternative approaches, and we'll see what happens. He's got confidence, and frankly, I have confidence that it's a pretty damn good book. It's a nice little tight 90s action movie of a book. And we're not just because the campaign's closing now, we're also not going to offer any pretense. I should be letting, I guess Vault is pieced out, so I'll speak for Vault. There's no pretense on Vault's part that if you don't get it in the next 3 hours.
Oh, he's back.
6 hours. Right?
6 hours.
6 hours. 6 hours left, guys.
I mean, some people buy it for F's sakes, but we're going into demand. We're going to sell this thing for 6 months. I'm going to pimp it elsewhere, and it'll be all right.
Go into demand and keep taking orders. And when you do a second one, offer the first one again with a different cover as a second printing of the first issue.
Yeah.
And, hopefully you can get people buying issues 1 and 2 again, or, new people coming in who want issue 1. And, this did good for 30 days. That's not bad, Ben. You guys didn't ask.
It's his first book, It's his first book. You gotta put some skin in the game, and it's going to take a minute. And, make no mistake. The goal's been met and so forth, but it'd be nice if another 40 or 50 people bought the book, because it's not like it ain't a losing game right now for Vault, but he's determined to put his books out, and they're worth backing, frankly. I wouldn't fuck around with working with him. I mostly work with some other stuff.
That's a really nice piece. The coloring's really nice on that too.
Frankly, Havoc sounds like a really cool premise, but like I backed this for Trials and Triumph, and I've been very open about that from the beginning. Because I was like, it's not
everybody
just
likes
like, oh,
this.
it's fantasy, but like I really like the art on this. So it's not like I'm just like exclusive to fantasy, but
well, that is
this
the
artist
animal.
is really, really good.
Yeah, that's.
So I got both of these books. Y'all check it out. I think this is definitely it's worth your money. It looks like you're getting a good bang for your buck. You know.
It was pretty fun to put together.
Nice.
And I like the idea of a novella, because even though, of course, I prefer comics, it's a really cool idea to, if you have like smaller ideas or like side stories. This got me thinking that I could do this for my campaigns as well. Like side stories, instead of doing a whole comic, I can just do, or just pure prose, I can do something kind of in between, like illustrated novella. So it's a really cool idea.
And also just the very detailed, very serious artwork fits really well.
You can do more detailed artwork too, because you're not doing like 50 pages.
It fits with a novella. I feel like it really helps with the pacing of actually reading a story next to it.
There you go.
Nice.
I don't know how to do this with the shit.
And how many?
You're opening it and like showing the edge of the book while the rest of it is out of camera.
Nice.
So nice. Cool.
And how many pages is it?
It's 40 pages.
That's cool.
40 pages prose. I think it's 13 illustrations.
So you get a lot of story, which is awesome.
It's a pretty good little story, you know. It's a little Joseph Campbell, you know. It's a little It's a hero's journey thing, and just you know, it's not all 12 steps. There's a few steps on the hero's journey. Be out here, yeah. I think it's good. He was like, "Do you think this will work?" I'm like, "F if I know, dude." But on the other hand,
yeah, I love that.
It'll sure be pretty.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
I think it was a good idea.
Makes me think the very picturesque style that you see on the artist artwork on the Dark Towers comic.
Oh, look at
Right.
that.
All right, show and tell's over. Other than these books exist. They're done.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So when you order, you get them right away, right?
There you go.
We're probably gonna go to print next week. Sounds
Perfect.
like.
Are those the sample prints?
Yeah. These are my proof copies, and there's one small adjustment that needs to be made with this one, and I have mixed them on speed dial, so it's all fine. Dealt with them before.
I didn't know they do proof copies.
Oh, see, could you actually show a little bit of what? Because when you were showing it, you actually were showing it outside of camera.
Show what?
A little bit of the other comic, because we only got to actually. Yeah.
We can do this deal.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
This is Havoc. This is actually the main deal. Everybody likes the other deal. But yeah, this is again a 90s action movie, essentially. You know, there's a lot of twists and turns. It's not super complicated, but you don't know what the hell's going on until the end of it. Tell you that. But everything leads to the end of it. So yeah, it's done. Arch Cider. It's an amazing young artist. It is a one-stop shop for the boobs and the colors.
There you go. That's what I was going to say. That. It's like very popping colors on the book.
Yeah. Well, he kind of hit the scene with a lot of fan art type of things, and
but the thing is just that when you see a lot of like adventure or mystery comics, I feel like a lot of people make the mistake of wanting to make it just like splash it with grays and browns too much.
He's got a lot of pop. I mean, in some cases, you're like, "Fuck's sakes, dude, tone it down." But not really. He was actually a pleasure to work with, and I think he had a really interesting I don't know, almost kind of like a singular style.
I think it works as he still keeps it to like one palette. It's not just all over the place. So, Yeah, it's like purples with some yellows popping out.
Yeah. It's a good book. It's a good story.
Yeah.
If you like crime noir and just fast paced. Yeah.
Sounds fun.
Awesome.
All right, take me off the big screen.
That's what I'm here to do, just to embarrass everybody.
Thank you, Doc. I appreciate it.
Oh, by the way, Irene, I think someone scooped up your other.
Oh, they
plaque.
did? The other plaque? Oh, let's
Yep.
see. Yay.
Oh,
Here you
I want to
go.
refresh.
I hadn't seen the. I haven't
Yay,
seen
so
you
this
guys actually
one?
put the little.
Yeah, refresh.
I did a couple of plaques for this, so here we go. Okay, you're at 50. Did you get a new backer? Yes! 51 backers! Oh, did they get the
Yes.
plaque? Yay! Thanks again! Woo! Awesome!
All right, I
you
told
guys
you
are
we should
great!
have charged more money, Vault. Told you.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like,
you've
mark
been telling me
up.
that the whole time. Oh well.
Yeah, you could have sold that for much more.
Live and learn, live and learn. I mean, they're not big is the thing. Like, they're so small,
It's
so
still a
I
lot.
don't know.
Could
Like,
be
why would
like
I charge more? They're like really, these are like 4-inch plaques, so.
Well, hey,
you know.
again, more incentive for people to actually get them now, and then next time they'll know that you price them out more adequately for the amount of work that you're putting into it, and also you'll have more practice on the sheer amount that you have to push out on this campaign.
Well, they're not like, I forgot what I was gonna say, but they're not available anymore. So it's not like I'm still trying to. I would love to put it back up and have people.
Sure, but
It was really popular. It's like, yeah, it would be more money for my campaign, but I can't do anymore. If I take any more orders, I'm not gonna be shipping these all out until next
That's not
year.
the point. The point is that we're talking about it.
Cool. Yeah, there we go. At least people are talking about it.
I thought it was an interesting referendum on the skulls versus snakes. When Vault showed it to me, I'm like, this would be an interesting little vote for skulls versus snakes. Skulls, in fact, sold first.
Yeah,
As
he,
Snake says,
well,
you
he
guys should
picked
have
the
some
themes
skulls
for it.
with snakes in them.
That's true.
Shit,
But it's
yeah,
one is
God
for
damn it.
Trials and Triumph, and one is
Big
for
brain moves
Havoc.
here.
I didn't really think of that. Vault,
I was very
Why didn't
specific
you think of
about
that?
what I was
Yeah,
very
he was very specific about what he wanted. So, because one was the theme of Havoc, he's like, I want a candle with the skull and the key. And I think I was the one who was like, should we put a diamond in the skull? Because he had one image that had a diamond in a skull with like a diamond in his mouth. But for the snake, you were super specific. He was like, I want the snake that like the blue snake that shows up in the comic, but in this very specific pose. He like dictated the pose it should look in. It was like the Farsies have mist in it, so it was like cool. I know exactly what to do, but he was
You
very
were
specific.
making me sound
about
like a
this.
tyrant. I was not that.
No, that's
demanding.
not my intention. I am actually glad when clients are specific because
I'm just glad you were able to understand what the hell he was talking about. Usually I can't.
I mean, it took some work, but I got it.
But yeah, it's like when you're in a convention and people ask you for commissions and actually the dreaded do whatever you want. It's like, I don't fucking
You
know.
know,
Dude,
it depends
I've been
though.
working for hours here. Just tell me what you want.
Yeah,
That's
like
right.
I really prefer when people are specific about what they want. So either it's another artist that knows what you like to do and it's like, okay, I want you to, like, I'm doing a big commission now that's really cool because the artist knows I like to draw monsters and action, and so they're like, here's my character, draw it with whatever action thing you want. And that's really cool because they know what, you know, I'm gonna go for, and I feel like they're gonna be happy with whatever I draw. But like sometimes you're at a convention and people just ask you to, oh yeah, just do whichever pose you like, but it's like, okay, but I feel like half the time they get it, they're like not happy with it. So just be specific.
It's not even that. For me, it's just like it's a lot less work if you just tell me what I'm going for instead of me having to brainstorm.
Yeah, it also depends on whether it's worth it for me to like have to do more of the work, brainstorming and coming up with the concept. It's like,
Yeah, there you go.
paying me at a
It's
convention
easier.
specifically. I don't feel like, you know, being that inventive. I'm just an art monkey right now. I'm already very stressed. Just tell me what
so
the
there
fuck
you
to
go.
draw. Yeah. Beyond
Yeah,
Time
the
is
Kobold's
here.
like-
Hello. What's up? Hello.
Yeah, cool. So it's like complete opposite of what you're saying. It's not about being a tyrant. It's just that Irene was just happy to get that much.
Oh yeah,
Where
I
to
wasn't
go.
complaining. I wasn't
Yeah, it's the
complaining.
opposite.
I was glad because a lot of people they don't know what they want. They're like, oh, we want to like let the artist feel like I care about their feedback, but it's like, okay, I don't always want that. Sometimes I just want you to actually tell me what the fuck you want. So, yeah, it was nice.
On
And
this
I'm glad they
case,
saw.
Yeah, in this case, that snake was based off a real life snake and everything. I just showed us the picture. And...
You don't have to keep on explaining yourself. But yeah, he did show a picture of like the specific snake that he wanted. It's nice to have reference. Yeah.
Did you guys have the little cartoony drawings on top of the stretch goals last time? I don't remember seeing it when you guys were showing the campaign.
I don't know if we got down to. We scrolled down.
Yeah,
to
I think we
stickers.
had that last time we were around.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
okay.
saw-
I guess it's just that sometimes when someone comes over to see the campaign, they don't even show the whole thing. They want to just like exit the camera as soon as possible.
Yeah, I can't remember, but yeah.
These are cute.
6 a.m. comics, which, yeah, is not 3 a.m. comics, which Vault pointed out when I did the first thumbnail for that.
Oh, it's fun to catch your typos, Steve.
I should put it at 6K. Maybe you'd get more money. 6K from 3 a.m. comic. How about that?
These are cute. Man, they do stickers for everybody. Like, I feel like half the campaigns I see, they have stickers from 6 a.m.
Yeah, dude, that's cool work.
I like
dig
the
it.
snake. Are these coming? So are these coming with all the books?
Yeah, that's everyone who backed the book's gonna get a sheet of stickers.
Okay, including the in-demand backers or just the campaign backers?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
ain't
print
really
out the same.
decided yet, but we'll see. Economy of scale is friendly.
Yeah, because some people want to be more exclusive to campaign backers.
I
so
just
that's
assume
what
a lot
I'm
of people
doing.
would back the book tonight, but we'll probably still send them some stickers later if they want to be that way.
So if they want it. Well, it depends on like how much you can afford to make.
Well, I'll probably
Yeah.
print as many. Sorry, I'll probably print as many stickers as I have books, so at least that amount.
Right
I
on.
think it's difficult, and I mean, again, congrats to you. I think you've done a good job of it. But to necessarily catch that wave of I don't know, I think crowdfunding is the answer to get it going. But I also think that at some point it's just going to be the people with enough staying power to keep on making books that can hang in there and keep your stuff out there somewhat, and hopefully gain a following along the way, so that wherever the book is sold, people might buy the book.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree. And if you can, like not everybody gets the chance to hook up with a larger group. Meaning, like when I started doing Hammer, I had no idea that I was going to end up doing Kill Journal, and then that Adam from Kill Journal was going to ask me if he could buy Hammer from me. So, if you can, when you're crowdfunding and you start out at the first place, show them as a proof of concept. Hey, I earned this much on my own. If I could be under, let's say, the banner of whatever company, I could sell this much, right? So I think the ultimate goal is to not only stay relevant in this market, but to essentially, band together with the people that are doing the hits and hopefully keep moving forward. And having their system help you out. Like, imagine if, a publisher was able to come along and get you another $30,000. That'd be great.
Well, that would be great, but publishers nowadays, I don't trust them with taking any of my stuff. Someone actually offered to take my book before I put it on Indiegogo, a small publisher, and I'm glad I didn't go with them.
Nice.
They take your IP and they fuck it up. That's what happens,
You did really well. I remember when Adam asked me, about Hammer, when he was like, hey, man, I think I'm interested in distributing your book. I was like, well, what do you want to do to it? And he was like,
That's always the question, yeah.
he was all straight to the point. I was like, what do you want to do to my book? And he's like, I don't want to do anything to your book, man. I want you to have full creative control. He goes, what I want though is to be able to make games and video games and movies and stuff like that. So not only can we publish you and get them out there and get them into stores and get you more followers, he can do toys, he can do all this stuff. So yeah, I mean, I don't trust publishers either. Okay, but this guy specifically, for some reason, seems really good to me. And I guess maybe because I've been in the industry and been abused a few times in the industry, that I just, when I see a good thing like this, I just want to jump on it. So plus I know a little bit more about Adam. I know what his business plan is. I know some of the other artists that he's reaching out to talk to bring into the fold. And if he is successful doing what I think he's going to do, then it'll be fine. So, and I will have decided correctly for once in my life.
Every move is a roll of the dice, to be sure.
Right.
You know,
right.
And I think it's certainly important to be wary of, you know, your IP rights, you know, and what happens with that. But at the same time, you know, I got a couple of choice dirt bikes that I would never sell. Wait a minute, what did you offer me again? All right.
Right.
Yeah, all right. So there's also that, you know.
I'm a different person too. Like there's certain people who create things and they're really attached to them. I, on the other hand, have always been super creative. So I create IPs like candy. And this just happens to be one of them. It's not any more special than anything else that comes out of my head. So a
guy might have an idea for something that's a hell of a premise, a hell of a story idea, a hell of a kernel to grow.
Right.
Not even have that much interest in it, but somebody else might be like, "Yeah, I can do something with that." Sold.
It's true, and I think that's kind of what happened with Hammer. But so that's why I'm okay with like being like, yeah, let's see what you can do with this, and because I know that even if everything goes off the rails, it is not the end of my world. Like I literally could pick myself up and do something else tomorrow.
Yeah, that is the recommended method for sure.
That's the what method?
The recommended method.
Right, yeah, that is the recommended method. I remember in college, that's what we were being told all the time. So don't get too attached to one thing. Don't like treat something like your baby. But I think that's more applies to people who like think their first idea is the best thing ever. And they think it's going to be like a huge hit, and then they get super let down. They give up when it doesn't succeed. But you can find a balance. Like, I think...
You have to find a balance. I don't think you can do anything successfully creatively unless you have some ownership over what it is you're trying to do.
Yeah, some people have to be really
let go of that ownership at some point and realize that, the artist can't actually draw the exact panoramic 60-second scene that I have in my head in 3 panels. Just got to be like,
Right.
Yeah. It depends on the person.
Somebody wrote that defeats the purpose of being indie and having your freedoms. Now,
hey Vinny, what up?
Me going to a studio like Failed Superheroes Club literally didn't squash any of my freedoms. Like he is not wrangling my brain to tell me what to do with my book. He doesn't know where I'm even going with it. In fact, he made a deal with me based upon an idea. So it's that idea is the premise of it all. And as long as I follow by that idea, however I execute it will be however I execute it. That's still my freedom. So I haven't lost anything, to be quite honest. That's the best part about being able to create intellectual properties from nothing. Take a premise and just make it go right then and there. And that's the kind of person I am. Like, if I walked into a movie studio and they didn't like my first 10 ideas, they're going to like the others that I have, because I can come up with whatever. They want to have an idea about a cup, we'll have a whole movie about a fucking cup. So whatever. Okay. It will happen. So it's just a matter of finding a way to express yourself within the parameters of that. So I don't think being put in a box all the time like completely cuts you off from being creative. So it just means you have to think differently. And I'm all for that. I'm all for thinking differently and figuring out weird ways to get something done. So if there's a will, there's a way, my grandmother used to say.
There's various levels of collaboration, to be sure. You know?
Right.
Yeah, I'm kind of two minds about that. Like, no one's gonna care about your more than you can, but at the same time, what a personal pet peeve of mine is when you have such a good story, you have such a good concept, and someone just screws it all up. And it could have easily been avoided if you just, I don't know, cared about it a little bit more, or just put a little bit more effort.
I'm really glad. Yeah, I'm glad that you found someone, a distributor that you can trust and doesn't fuck with your IP. But I've seen too much bullshit in just not just comics, but just entertainment in general, and especially now. I don't trust anybody. That's why I incorporated. That's why I'm not selling anything. I'm approaching things the same way Ghibli approached, Western distribution. Just don't fuck with my stuff. Don't cut my work. You don't I'm not selling it to anybody, because the way they approach it was the complete opposite of Disney, and you don't have to be, you don't have to sell your IP to Marvel or Disney to be successful. That's like such an American way of approaching things. Look at Ghibli. They were all about the artistry and the work, and they were successful as well because they put the story first, and they treated what they created like, this is a gem, this is a baby, I'm gonna put everything into what I create, and I'm not going to be, I'm not going to put like the toys ahead of the movie and the story, and that's their model of success. So I think different things work for different people.
I think I think that's a valid point to bring up, but I do want to clarify when you say like they, it's more like him. It was a whole animation studio just putting one guy up in a pedestal, and now it's crumbling because they know that without him, he never promoted.
Ghibli,
be able to actually develop and create their own thing or collaborate and feed onto something, because he could not trust anybody with how paranoid and how high up his own fumes he was.
Well, yeah, but I don't know if it was that. I think he was always, the studio was never going to go on without Miyazaki. That was always going to be the way it was, and that's okay. Not everything has to be like Disney. Not everything has to be become some giant monster. This incorporated monster after the original creator dies and the creativity isn't there anymore.
It's not about creating a monster, but it's a studio full of quote-unquote creatives. But there was no trust put on other creatives to promote them, to develop their own ideas.
I think there was.
No, there
was. They just weren't good enough.
Nick. Okay, honey. The thing is that Irene is talking about what matters to her, and Irene is a one-woman team, so that would only make sense with what she cares about, is supporting the one woman who's running her entire project.
Right.
You're making it sound like I only care about myself.
What's interesting about what you just said? Like, you're right. Miyazaki never put anybody above himself in certain aspects, and even his own son he talked down to after his first film
because he wasn't good enough. And also, Ghibli did have another director, Isao Takahata, also made a lot of really good movies. He's the one who made Grave of the Fireflies. And
anybody who can do an animated film, a full-length feature animated film, is definitely good enough. And just because Miyazaki is judging it doesn't mean it wasn't a good film. Compared to Miyazaki, of course it wasn't. Of course.
It wasn't trash, but it wasn't that good.
But that being said, nothing would be good to Miyazaki. And that is an unfair judgment to any child. And how dare somebody do that? Like, it's so hard to do that stuff. And he just kind of sits there and just kind of rubs it off of his shoulders. So I get what you're saying down there about all that. And it's not okay to do. Like, we're all doing the same art form. But I understand what you're doing about incorporating and stuff. I am incorporated. I own a Pega Entertainment. All of my stuff is under that banner. So in order to get my stuff, you have to license it from me. You don't get to own it. You license it from me. So just like you.
Smart.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I'm a one-person show just like you are. I pencil, ink, and draw everything. So I'm not letting go of anything. Miyazaki is a whole different creature, by the way. Like, that guy is like an animation god, and nobody's good enough, by the way. Not anybody. And the people that work with him have worked with him for like 40 fucking years and die with him. Okay? It is ridiculous the amount of sheer loyalty his people have to him. And that is amazing. Okay? But once he's dead, just like you said, that studio is over. Okay? There's nothing left.
Yeah, that's one way of approaching things. And not everyone has to approach things in a certain way, you know. And I want to be clear, this is subjectively how I want to approach my IPs. Because some people, it doesn't work the same way. Some people, it works really well for them to, you know, put something that's, well, this is clearly something to do well for Netflix. This is something that is mainly to sell toys, and that's their thing. But that's not how I want to build my career.
No, that's good. I'm glad that you're taking more control of that type of stuff. Now, smaller people who haven't made $26,000 could look into being with a studio and probably take advantage of something like that. And yes, you can still be independent and be part of a small studio. I came from underground comics, so from studios that essentially were nothing, and you know, they ended up falling apart during the comic book boom because comic books got really popular at one point. Everybody thought they would buy the new latest first issue and that we'd all retire on these comic books and have something left, but we don't. All we have is like $1 million worth of kindling, essentially, because we oversold all this stuff, and it is what it is. It's definitely a different day and age right now in our industry, and seeing two bubbles happen, essentially, because this underground bubble that's happened also back in 1988 and 89.
You went up. Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you.
And I'm hoping as a result of this, more IPs get out into the real world and start being, you know, like Havoc and Fiendish being made into shows and other things like that, because, you know, that's going to be what the future holds for pop culture, essentially.
Well, I think it's become kind of an independent band scene. You know, I mean, it's that's a weird old school analogy, but still, it is that now you're just going to have to get out and play and build an audience.
It kind of
that's
is like
the perfect
what it is.
Analogy.
It's like the mainstream people who are signed with record labels, and then it's the bands that are playing in garages.
Yeah,
it's very similar. It's still creative industries have a lot of parallels. So I thought about that similarity before too.
Well, you know what a lot of them have in common? When you let creative people be fully in control and express themselves, that tends to be where the best stuff comes out. I mean, whether it's music or, you know, writers, artists, any of that stuff. Like, the biggest boom in comics artist-wise was Image, right? That's when you had all these great artists just doing their thing, you know, drained, unfiltered, all that stuff. And some of it didn't work, some of it did. Varying levels of success and failure, but you had a big boom.
But that was during the boom. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you can also see it in film, like the Harry Potter series, Lord of the Rings. These are all great works that were adapted and went And what was their mantra? Do what the writer told you to do. Do what the creative told you to do. Do what they told you to do. Even Game of Thrones, before it went to crap, that's because they ran out of, books to be using as a guideline. They started thinking for themselves. That's when they shot it into the ground.
That fucking disaster. I just want to say real quick, Chimera, how dare you with that avatar?
Yeah,
I don't really know
Why would I even let you on?
Okay, hold on. Let me
Now
change
you
my
brought that
actual
up.
now.
I didn't want to interrupt the flow of discussion, but apparently we'll just let anybody in here.
Yeah, I have to disagree with
Oh
all
my
of you.
word.
I have to
I
disagree with
saw that
all
down
of
the
you.
bottom, and I was just like, he's shitting me right now.
I
with
have
his
no
kids.
standards here at all.
We need more
Chimera,
Cal
I have a
Art
spear and I will use it.
We need more Cal Art cartoons. I'm sorry. You're all
Goodbye.
CalArt or CalArt comics.
Excellent kid. Excellent kid.
He's been
You know what's
vanquished. Bye-bye.
funny? You know what's
Oh,
funny?
he changed his avatar. All right, you can.
All
come
right,
back now.
all right. Yeah, if he comes back representing in some way, his
I
own
mean,
works.
I'm just saying,
My-
you can't use that avatar on my stream. You can say whatever you want. I won't censor you, but
I'm with that.
I'm not going to
He's
look
got
at that
worse.
image anymore.
He's got worse. There's other things that he could put up.
Just anything but Cal Arts. I don't give a shit. You can put up Donovan all you want. I don't want to look at Cal Arts.
yeah,
drawings
No, he
anymore.
puts up some horrific. You should. Some of the DM rooms
Yeah,
he
that's
runs.
true.
My
Chimera's pretty fucked
God.
up.
Funny.
It's pretty fucked up.
My
Yeah, I
buddy
mean-
Gonzo graduated CalArts. The guy who did all that stuff that I showed you from Hammer.
Oh dear.
CalArts. Sorry.
Well,
Yeah, it's almost like
Man,
the Calvers thing is a
that
little
stuff's good. I mean, it's not the. Yeah.
What
But
were
it was
you
not to
saying,
do.
Ariel? Is it you saying it's overblown?
No, it's a little bit of a myth because it has the name of it, but a lot of people who graduated from CalArts do not have that style, and that style is also found in.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of saying
No,
too.
we're not saying everyone who came from. It's
Right.
just the moniker that's been given to.
Not
Yeah.
that's art
everybody's
style.
terrible who comes from CalArts.
Yes, I know. I know people who went to CalArts too.
Chimera, however, is definitely horrible.
Is he?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, going back to what we were talking about, though,
He's
what
surly.
Vault was saying. You're right.
He is.
It's about letting. It's not so much about corporatizing entertainment, because like I say that a lot, but that's not. I feel like that's not the right way to put it. It's about letting the creatives be in control instead of the bean counters. So there you go.
Well, I
That's
agree.
that's what pisses
I
me
agree.
off.
I agree.
pisses me off.
So, well, yeah. I mean, no bean counter can tell me like what I want to do with my story. But if I think that it's going to make more money by making a decision to do this instead of this, I'm probably going to do that. So, and that's just me because I want to be part bean counter too. Like I'm a creative, but not all creatives become rich, right? It's because they're too fucking creative and they get in the fucking way of themselves. And that's the point I kind of was trying to make is don't get in the way of yourself so much that you're not a fucking bean counter, because at the end of the day, you know, you may have a family to feed. And
That too.
you-
You're right.
you still have to do that, right?
Yeah,
So,
a lot of creators are terrible business people, or they get really hung up on they're still so afraid to put stuff out, or they overthink things, or they just don't know how to market
Right.
things right. So you're right. A lot of creators need people to manage them, basically. Shane Davis is here. What's up? Hail! Thanks
Yeah,
for
don't be
joining
a
us.
diva, don't have an ego,
Oh,
and
nice.
balance
Yeah,
things
just-
out.
No, just be Todd
Yeah,
McFarlane
try
and
to.
sell toys and be a millionaire and buy
Just be Todd
millionaire.
McFarlane.
Yeah,
That's
just
all
buy
you do.
baseballs
no,
that are worth millions
don't
of
buy
dollars.
baseballs. Don't do that. Don't buy baseballs. No, don't be
Don't
that
buy
fucking guy. Okay.
I don't even
No,
know if the
that-
dude has drawn anything.
that
he
guy,
drew
first
one
of all,
Spawn cover.
I'll tell you one story that'll actually like just completely sum up that fucking guy and like okay. Imagine going to a toy meeting with James Cameron, okay, Terminator James Cameron, and he is going to offer you a chance to do his toys for Avatar, right? Which, as you know, there's 3 more films that are going to come out, and I'm sure they're all going to make $1 billion fucking dollars apiece too.
if they ever come out.
Yay.
So that being said, Todd comes down to Hollywood. My friend worked for him at the time. He was in the meeting also. This is how I know this. Todd walked into James Cameron's office barefooted and threw his dirty feet up on James Cameron's desk. Okay? That interview was over instantaneously. He lost that deal because he thought it was more important to throw his dirty Canadian fucking feet.
He's Canadian? Oh, that's the problem.
His dirty fucking feet up on this billion-dollar director's desk, thinking that he was going to get to do his toys afterwards. And it was not going to happen.
Why did he do that,
Full screen my
though?
avatar, Irene. It's very important.
Oh, no.
It was the
What is
worst
this?
thing ever.
Am I going to get banned for this? What the fuck is this?
It's shirtless Todd McFarlane.
Oh.
So awesome.
Get that off.
Awesome.
Does he
So
just
Vinny,
have a habit of going around with no shirt or no shoes? I was not aware of this.
I don't remember that being the case, but that is. But man, that's what was he trying to do? Like a power play or something?
I know. I've never heard of this.
I have no idea, but whenever that guy comes into a room, the second he talks, it's like, dude, you are not the most powerful person in the room. You can barely speak the English language without fucking stepping over your fucking tongue. His accent irritates me. Like
Vinny said, "I work for Todd. He's too much of a dick in the business world." Yeah, Vinny did work for Todd.
I listened to interviews with him and heard about I've seen how stuck up he is, but I didn't. That's I feel like that's a whole other level to go into a business. You can put your feet up.
I'll tell you, he's the kind of cunt that'll fire you if you've worked for him for 25 years over an email. Okay. That's
Dang.
like he'll literally just email you and tell you you're fired, and you've been with him for 25 fucking years. So I bet Vinny has a few stories. We may know a bunch of the same people.
Yeah, he worked in toys. You guys probably do know the same people.
We probably know a bunch of the same people, and it literally. Like, he shits on people like they're nothing. Like, he thinks he's God's gift to comics, much like Rob Liefeld does. And at best, Rob Liefeld's a fucking fanboy. And that's it. Yeah. That's all he ever was. And he's the biggest fanboy ever in the whole world. Okay? He's like that. That's it. It's not talent. It's just a fanboy. So I was the lead design for Todd. Nice. Did you know Jason Gonzalez?
Just get your toys made in China. God, it's not that hard.
No, it was very specific, some of the stuff that they did in China. Like he went over and wanted the teams to do like twice the amount of work and twice the amount of painting, and it totally changed the way the toy industry basically was. At one point.
Taiwan number one.
Taiwan number one, yeah. I mean, selling everything's produced in China now. Chris is here, what's up? Yeah, I wish I had more space. The show is full, but I'd love to have Vinny on. You guys would probably have a lot to talk about.
I would like to talk with that guy.
I gotta get both of you on a show sometime. I'll work on it. That'll be fun.
Nice. Well, I'll have you on my show sometime this week. It won't be as dramatic as this. I promise. It'll just be.
This isn't that dramatic. I like this.
Us just chatting
just
about
shit talking
Fiendish.
Some people. It's all right.
And I have no problem shit talking Todd McFarlane, or Rob Liefeld.
This is all hearsay. I'm just hearing all about this. I've never met these people, but apparently there'd be some problems. Yeah, Vinny says Rob is worse than a fanboy and egomaniac.
Yeah,
Rob's a dick on Twitter. He blocks you over nothing.
Oh, that's
lame. Dickhead.
It's lame when people do that.
I used to go to cons every year, and I made it my job to every time I saw him just be like, Rob, you suck. And I would just keep walking. Like, I would just be like, hey, Rob, you suck. And I'm sure it was the most self-defeating thing, like, because it happened every year to him, right? And then I kind of felt bad that I did it. Like, oh, he's a fucking loser. Like, I shouldn't tell him. Sucks. Like, I feel bad about it. It's like telling a fucking person with Down syndrome they suck. And you start feeling bad. And then you realize how fun it is to pick on somebody when they're just completely idiotic, and he just is a moron.
Have you seen that video clip of Stan Lee with Todd McFarlane and Rob Liefeld when they're younger? It's pretty good. Stan Lee's just insulting them the entire time. It's fucking great.
I loved it.
I'm not seeing that.
I loved
so
it.
Funny.
Why do you got to draw stuff that's so violent? Why is it covered in this? Why don't they have ankles? Why don't they have waists? Why is there so many pouches?
Does he ever take off the armor? No, he's wearing it the entire time. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fucking brilliant.
Yeah. Why is your character so violent? It was really funny because at one point Rob Liefeld used to live right next door to my buddy Marco Galli for like a year and a half, and I used to sit outside in his backyard when I'd come over and like be over his wall like, Rob sucks.
Oh my god, you're straight trolling this guy.
I did. I trolled him for years, dude, because he should have never moved in next to my buddy. He should have never moved in. Like
in real life trolling.
It was I was really mean about it. I feel bad. Like, I don't know if he would recognize me as the guy who told him he sucked all the time. I don't know.
Rich. I guess it's
me.
The assholes that get all the money in the end.
I feel bad about picking on Gary Coleman too. So I do. I picked on him in real life one time at a E3 convention, and I was very drunk, and I said, "What you talking about, Willis?" about 1,000 times in that guy's ear. And he should have punched me so bad. I was trying to get punched by him, but he was so tiny. I could have just held him up, you know?
Okay, he can't control his height, but Rob Willis can control how he draws feet, okay?
Oh, yeah, and he can control a lot more than that, for sure. Yeah, obviously.
I don't know who that is.
Who? What you talk about, Willis?
Gary
Well, you
Coleman.
just said...
Oh my God, I don't know who Gary
You
Coleman
guys
is.
are mixing the names and the metaphors like crazy. Come here, you just said Rob Willis can control how he draws feet. You're talking about Rob Liefeld.
Whatever.
That's not the same thing as what you're talking about, Willis. What the fuck is going on with this conversation?
Sorry, Sumo Thori. Yeah, why are we talking about all these great campaigns? You have a point.
I don't even know what we're doing here.
Because we've been on here for 2 hours. And
oh my gosh, it has been like over 2 hours. Shit.
Yeah. Once 2 hours is up, we officially start talking weird shit.
Yeah, this is what happens when I just come on.
I thought it was kind of common.
I don't have anything else to do right now.
For these like hours.
You can check your DMs for me.
Well, I tried to stay under 2 hours, but I've been going. I went almost 3 hours last time, so yeah, this is like pretty common now.
I'm saying the DMs for you. Shit.
So here we'll talk about the campaigns back.
Yay! I mean, some funny
Havoc,
industry stories are always great, but we are here to talk about comics. So,
right.
Who's coughing? Oh no!
Who's dying?
Salud.
Oh, that's my wife. She's coughing.
No. Feel better.
She's coughing because she's inhaling smoke.
Oh. No.
So
Don't die.
that's the good cough. It's the good cough.
Now we know why Rob blocks people so much and is the way he is. Years of dealing with Jason Crager. Well,
there you go.
It's so funny. It's so funny. You can ask Marco, my inker, or not inker, my letterist, and an inker in the industry for many years. That I did irritate. And in fact, I worked at Avatar as the art director, but I also answered the phones. And at that time, we had a deal with Rob Liefeld, and he would call, and my boss would warn me. He'd be like, "Rob's gonna call. You need to be nice to him."
That's not going to happen.
I was like, he goes, "No, you're going to say, yes, Rob, no, Rob. Take his message if I can't get to it and do that." And I was like, "God damn it." And he's like, "Nope, you're going to do it." And I used to have to be like, Okay, Rob, here you go.
I mean, that's just part of working for people and with people, though. Sometimes you got to do that. So you can't always say everything that's on your mind. It's just
the way that he's so dramatic about it is like I have to be civil with a person in a business scenario. Oh, it was so hard, you guys.
It was so hard.
People piss me off all the time, but you just got to deal with it.
It was Rob Liefeld, man. Come on. Like,
Pale
are you
Rider,
kidding
thank
me?
you for the red dress.
Yeah, I mean, for fuck's sakes, two of the guys that are like sitting here silently piss me off every fucking day, you know. But they're all right.
Oh, we already know that.
I get along with
I mean,
them.
you are very open, but it works
Mostly
out
you,
for you.
Chimera. Mostly you.
The hatred between you works
it.
out. I feel like your hatred is the bond for making this book happen. So, you know, it's such a beautiful thing. It different strokes for different folks. I'm really glad to
piss
see.
me off, but it's like into a different stroke. I'm not sure exactly how I don't know. I have to work out the timing on that.
Steve's just passionate. He likes me.
Every little thing.
That's how he
needs
expresses his love for you.
Yeah, by telling me I'm a piece of shit. Yeah.
Oh, okay. You know.
He doesn't tell me I'm a piece of shit all the time. Well, what the hell, Steve?
We have a deeper relationship where he calls me a piece of shit.
Yeah, that's why you got the butt to get out here. No, I don't get no love.
I'm sick of both of them.
All right. Hammer, everybody, back these books.
Every time I think I'm sick of Chimera or I'm sick of Vault, I just think about Sim, and then I'm like, nah, it'll be all right.
Let's see. Let's refresh.
It actually looks like a couple people backed before.
Probably
so.
like right when I because I just loaded the page. So, but yeah, you should have more backers because let's see is this your first campaign?
As
even
the guy
if it's
said,
your first campaign,
I'm not a pretty girl with big boobs. Remember? Like, that's why that didn't
Well, it's not the only thing you need to. I really like the big vase here on the logo, by the way. That's really nice.
Oh, I don't think I said that. Who said that?
I don't think those were Steve's exact words, but
I don't think that's what I said at all.
Clearly, the people who sell books the most in indie comics all are pretty girls with big boobs. That's clearly
No, I didn't say that either. I didn't say any of that.
Indie comics are actually just Twitch.
I mean, it wouldn't hurt.
That would
I said I would have done better. I should have got my wife to sell the comics instead of me.
It's not, that's, guys that are selling a motorcycle on Craigslist get their hot chick to sit on it.
It's not too late to hire someone and just be like, look, buy this book. I totally drew it.
And
you can totally do that.
It's like a Hell's Angel biker trying to sell you a comic book for me trying to sell Hammer. That's why I only did $12,000.
I mean, I like that though, and someone in the chat earlier said you look the part, which I think.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So I mean, you fit the branding of your book.
I mean, it is what it is, bro. You don't gotta get all.
It's your first campaign.
I do. I look like a Viking. I am selling my.
Yes. So I think it's very fitting. You got to move your way up, and because you build on your audience. So the audience that you have for this book, if you deliver, which you will, they'll come back for the second book, and next time you'll probably make like $50K.
You look like the dude that lived down the block from me the whole time I lived in SoCal. Ain't nothing you can fucking do about it, brother. That's where we're at.
I was probably
this shit.
That guy.
This ain't what anybody wants, but that's what you get.
That's right. Now we have to sell our wares.
Yeah. Peddle our ass on the street. I mean,
joining John later.
I ain't that pretty to be able to do that.
Can't do it, bro. I hear you, but it is what it is, man.
That's why I joined forces with Failed Superheroes Club. They have a lot more. They can hire the pretty girls to pimp my book for me, and I can just draw it.
I'm trying to work my way up to where on the next book I work on, I want Umbrella Girls in the paddock area when we release.
I think Mike has said this before. Mike TV dub. Jason looks like Tormund Giantsbane from Game of Thrones.
A little bit.
Is that the
You're
ugly
not red
guy?
enough. No, he's the redhead, the one that wants to bang Brienne.
Oh, I didn't see that.
The wild.
Just a tiny bit, yeah. Just a tiny bit.
A little bit.
I think it's, and I also think I'm not redhead. I'm blonde. But whenever I am on this, it always looks like my hair's red, so everybody thinks I'm a redhead, which is funny.
It's been a bit now, I forget.
That's so funny. Anyways,
you don't look like you're gonna be slightly strawberry blonde or something. You look the part.
I'm just old and gray, and don't like to cut my hair. I don't like doing that shit.
Look at this, 400. It's 400 for. Is that okay? What is this? What is this one? It's one of the Draugrs, and with the book. Is that what it is?
Yes, it comes with the book. You get two versions of the book. So the Benitez cover signed by Benitez and Levasseur and me, and then you get my version of the cover, and then you get a handmade, your very own version of a Draugr. So, and it's about 11 inches tall, and each one is different, and each one is signed and numbered and goes out to the backer that backed that tier.
Okay, yeah, that's worth 400 because it's a 11-inch figure and it's customized for each person. So
yeah, it's all handmade. They're all handmade.
Yeah. One of 3 limited sculptures. 0 claimed. Come on, people. I mean, I don't have the money, but I would love to get this.
You know,
I'm broke now because I have a roof to fix or a broken ceiling.
Do like a 4 or 5 inch version of that. Like I'll ZBrush it up or something.
I love like a tiny version of it. Yeah. Do you offer one that's just a small mini version?
I haven't yet. So, but I will. I think maybe for the next campaign I might.
Yes, I think like a large 11-inch handmade one, but also just like a ZBrush printed small one, like different tiers of it, because I think the figurines are a really cool thing to have. And you should offer one that you don't have to do that much work. You just print it and let people paint it themselves. That would be great. That's something I would get.
And that they don't have to spend $800 on. They could spend like $100. Right?
Much more manageable.
It's not only that, it's just that also, I mean, maybe I'm just the only one thinking of this, but it's like, it's smaller, it means that I can use it for D&D.
Yes.
So I can pull it off the shelf and actually use it and show it off more often.
You're not the only person thinking of that.
Right? I feel like there's a lot of people thinking about that too.
People just pretend they're totally not, going to use these. Oh, we want toys. We're not using it for D&D or anything.
What's the height of a medium creature in D&D? Is it 11 centimeters? Is it? No, 11 millimeters? No.
Vinny, good night. Thanks for joining. Vinny says, have a good night, everyone. Hit that like button. Yes, hit that like button. I always forget to say that. At the end, I say subscribe, but yes, hit the like button if you like this conversation, like these books, and subscribe.
I think it's 52 millimeters is the largest size for a game. It's 52 or 54. I was looking into it because
like about 2.5 inches.
Yeah, it's about 2 inches. It's not very big. It's super small, and it's usually done for die cast like figures, Warhammer stuff, things like that. And I know that they do bigger stuff. But yes, for my next campaign, we will have a Snowblood Draugr, and it'll probably be like 5 inches or something. I don't know how much I'll charge. We'll see. It won't be $800. The reason why that one is $800 is if you go back down.
Well, this is 400, but
right.
This one is 800. Yeah.
This one is 8, is because I would have to make a mold. This thing was actually hand sculpted out of Super Sculpey and Monster Clay. Mm-hmm. And I'd have to make molds for it, and then I would have to pour those molds, but I also had to break it into pieces and key it all and do a bunch of stuff to it. So anybody who would just want one copy of it for $800, that's a ridiculous thing. And I would offer to paint it for them. And I think they get like a Loki's head, and they get like a drawing too, and they get the books. You get like everything.
The Loki head, the original 8x10 original art sketch, and with the book, the Leonard edition, and also Oh,
Right.
you get two books, the 8x10 and the Loki head,
Right.
as well as this figurine, right?
Right. So you get almost everything with it. So, and I figured whoever would do it, it would be totally worth it, and I could cover the mold cost if one person did it. But nobody ever did it, and I totally understand.
That's a hefty thing. But I think after a few books, because this is book one of your story, once you have a few more books and people are more invested in the franchise, this will totally sell, because this is a really cool higher tier thing to have for a comic campaign. Like, it's really unique.
Right. That was one of the things I kind of hit on when I did this, and
if I was rich, I would get it, is what I'm saying.
Well, I appreciate it. For people like you, I'll make sure that we have something that's more manageable in the next campaign.
Oh yeah, I like smaller figurines. I would love it. If you had one here, I would pick an eye out. I'd keep an eye out for those next time.
I'm aiming to get some of these guys that I could actually use on a game.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, there are a lot more gamers in the world than just us.
I think a lot of people that are buying comics, they do tabletop. So yeah, those would sell.
Right.
Yeah,
so for the third issue of Hammer, we are going to have a skirmish game created that has miniature figures. And then for the 10th issue of Hammer, which is the end of the series, we're going to be releasing a full RPG game for it.
Cool.
So there'll be 2 different games. So in the next 6 months, expect to hear something about a small tabletop game for Hammer.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah. We will be on the lookout for that. Look at this art. Ooh, I didn't even notice that. Look at the sound effects, the art inside the sound effect. That's a cool idea.
You have a lot of incredible page layouts.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like that.
I've been around a long time, so I kind of try to pay attention and look at what other people are doing. I'm not original by any means. I just keep kind of pushing stuff around till it looks right.
Well, you don't have to be original. You just have to stick to an idea and do it well.
I love that design of that helmet with like the things coming over his eyes. That was so great.
Yeah, the little flourishes.
Did you see that they actually have a sculpture of that?
That's the Loki head, right? Look at this piece too.
Right.
I love that.
So Eric McIntyre says, Jason, I backed your book a while ago. I'm just concerned how long it'll take for the second campaign because of how long it's taking with this one. Well, this one took a little while because I ended up doing the 100 pages of Kill Journal in between it. So I won't be taking any more work other than to do Hammer for the next 3 years. That's what I'll be doing. So there will be no outside work in the comic book industry for me other than to do Hammer until it's completed for the next 3 years. So that'll be my goal. And my goal is to get out issue 2 this year and have issue 3 out hopefully by January of next year. That's where I'm at. That's the only reason it took me so long. It takes me about 2 months to do this book. If I do it every day and I sit down and have no other job obligations that have to be done, I can do it in 2 months.
Isn't that a dream though? Just have nothing else going on but your own projects.
Oh. Well, I have a family and, I have kids who go to school and stuff like that. So, and reasonably, I like to make, money. So I try to balance everything out. So, and as I said, by going with the publisher that I did, they're helping me out with all this stuff. So it takes some of the stuff off my back so we can get everything moving faster. So Adam wants me just to draw. I shouldn't be worried about packing like tons of mail. I shouldn't be worried about having to dig all that stuff up. He should worry about that stuff. And that's what he's taken over for me. And that allows me just to kind of bring art to you guys. Failed Superhero Club is the publisher, the same publisher who did Kill Journal.
Yeah, I've been hearing about them. Well, it's nice to hear. I've been hearing good things about them, so that's nice that's very refreshing because I haven't heard good things about small publishers in a long time. Chris, I missed this one. He said I got me a Draugr back when this campaign came out. Jason has something cool here. Cool. Yeah. I wish I got one of the Draugrs early.
Chris is good. So Chris, I think was one of the
campaign. It's amazing.
He's one of the first people. Yes, I'm working with Hammer. Or Adam on Hammer as well. Yes, Eric. Together. So he's essentially, as I said, he's licensing my book from me to print it.
Look at this fucker. I can see the Mad Max influence, definitely.
Right. I was trying to do my best Lord Humongous. He gained a little bit of weight in the wasteland and lost an arm.
I see the resemblance. Very endearing. Very endearing.
Just walk away. Just walk away. Just walk away.
Look at these guys. This is such a cool idea. Man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I love that sculpture. I want to, paint these things.
Wow, that actually makes Loki look like a badass, not the Disney Plus show that makes him look like a wimp.
Speaking of Loki, the show that I haven't seen it, but apparently it sucks.
Oh, I didn't think so. I really liked it. You know, but
some people like it, but a lot of people don't like how he's not like a cunning villain, ish in the first couple episodes.
Here's the other thing. I'm not hypercritical either of stuff. It doesn't ruin my life that they do something different with the character, and I just don't take it personally, and I just enjoy watching it. I love the premise from the first episode of that new Loki series because they essentially emasculate him. They just cut his balls off and see what he does, and it's actually kind of cool to see him defeated in such a way that he can't do anything. It'll add another depth to that character that he has other than just being a slimeball.
All right.
No, I understand. There's people who don't like it.
People, don't like. I don't know. I'm not super invested, and I haven't seen it. But people didn't like how they essentially made, the Infinity Stones and all those
useless,
essentially useless. Everything that has been going on in MCU for the past 10 years is just watered down because none of those choices mattered, and people were really mad about that. So I can kind of understand that too.
No, I think they're oversimplifying something and they're not allowing it to play out. It's like anticipating something that's going to happen and then already making your mind up before you even have done it. So that's not how to watch something. And I'm enjoying just watching it as it unfolds, and it doesn't hit any of the sensibilities like that for me. And in fact, I think it's great that they turn them into paperweights. It absolutely is great because it adds another dimension to things. I'm not so entirely invested in it on the level that it would hurt me. Like if they wiped out the last 10 years of the MCU.
Okay.
It wouldn't crush my little fucking comic book heart. I'll move on and watch other movies.
Yeah, they should really move on. All the actors are getting old.
Well, at some point, they're all going to have to. So you can only do so much, right?
They should just do like the Ultimate Universe or something.
Well, they're going to try to milk it. They want the money.
Interesting. Nice. Yeah, money's good, but it is what it is in the long run. I think people who haven't seen it yet and are making decisions based upon it should go watch it first and let it sink in, give it a minute, just to realize it's a show and that the continuity of that show doesn't really change anything in the real world of how everything works. Like,
oh, of course, I think people just get invested in the stories that
a little too much. So just
sure,
a little.
But I mean, look at us. Look at us here. None of us are here because we're not like invested in fantasy worlds.
I'm invested to a certain point. Like at some point I realize I only have so much control, and I'm okay with that. That's the other thing too. Like even with working with if I were to go and work with a larger studio, I don't really care about my vision as much as I would love to see something bigger, because I couldn't do it myself. Like I can't throw $100 million at something. So I kind of don't care what they do to my shit if they throw $100 million at it. Like I want to see what they did. Because I couldn't imagine what something that cost $100 million like that would do. And I think that that's kind of where I come from when I deal with people like that in the studios, and that idea of things changing, and yeah, shit's going to change. You throw $100 million at anything, it's going to change. And not in a bad way sometimes. Infinity Stones only work, what do you say?
He said the Infinity Stones in a drawer were most like an alternate universe, were likely alternate universe stones, or the stones from alternate universes. The Infinity Stones only work in the universe they were created in. That's an interesting
There you go.
idea.
That's cool. That's good to know. So, and that even adds more depth to that idea. So, it was such a shocking moment, I guess, to see it, because they pile on like 3 or 4 moments that Loki has to see all at once, and it creates this weird emotional roller coaster. And then on top of it, they add the whole stone thing. And once you realize that the stones essentially could just be paperweights, it completely takes choice out of the universe. And at that point, you have to just watch the story unfold. It's like they took the most impossible thing and showed it to you, and then now they have to make things make sense. Does that make sense? Do I sound like a crazy person?
Half, but also, that makes sense.
At the same time, it's kind of hard to tell, because like at least I think most of the folks here, at least the ones that we're talking, just have heard of other people's opinions, but we haven't actually personally seen the show. So
I haven't seen the show.
We don't really have full opinions on it. Like my thing is just that when I saw, the only thing that I've ever seen of that is the trailers for it, the sneak peeks, and for me, my only thing is that I tend to dislike when shows try and grab like some kind of fantastical world or like really out there concept, but then try to veil it in this kind of corporate skin to try and be able to lower the budget of it. And at least that's what it looked like on the trailer, but I actually have no idea what the show is even about.
And in some way, you could be totally right. They absolutely could be toning that down for budget reasons and then make it look like an office. But in a weird, like Wes Anderson type way, it works. It's really bizarre, especially with Clive Owen there. Even more so with him there. It makes me think of a Wes Anderson movie while I'm watching it, because he's so quirky. Anyways, I love it. I don't know why. It's dumb. I'm going to watch the second episode after I get off this with you guys.
Louis Ledesma? Did I say that right? Tell me. Said a comment I want to highlight. Who cares about these for Marvel? Indies are the future. Bang.
Hopefully.
I'm boycotting Disney pretty much. Just like Disney
I
don't know why I would ever want to give them money.
Ariel was saying that like a year ago, but I was latching on just for the Mandalorian, because it was like, oh my god, I don't give a shit about Disney, and I don't really care about DC or Marvel. I'm like, I'm not gonna complain about them, but I'm just I'm not invested in it. So whatever, I'm doing my own thing. I love the indies, but like then they screwed up the Mandalorian. It was like, fuck Disney. And everything in Hollywood sucks. Screw all those people. I'm just not interested in seeing any of these shows. I'm done. Like, I'm not gonna bitch about it, but I'm not interested. I have my manga, I have my anime.
I'm kind of indifferent to it. To it, but at the same time, it's like they haven't really shown me anything I haven't already seen before, like even Loki and stuff like that. So basically, the concept is similar to other shows they've already had. Like they have shows where, like, you know, this is heaven or this is hell or whatever, and everyone's walking around like it's an office and stuff. And you like
Preacher.
Yeah, you got this whole agency that's it's, you know, super time agency above Thanos, above, you know, all these people and all these powers and everything. So you're just getting higher and higher on the power creeping level and stuff like that. And these guys are walking around like, oh, it's nothing. So one of these time people could take on Thanos. So everything else was just kiddie stuff, you know. It's kind of, but not as exciting.
Right. So somebody asked, Sumo Thori asked if my thumbnail on the art tier is a panel from the book. No, it wasn't a panel from the book. It was just going to be a piece of art that I was going to give away or do something. And I think I ended up giving it away. But when I do art sketches for that stuff, it'll be stuff like that.
Oh, speaking of which, Jason, since you mentioned that you had scrapped a lot of pages that you had previously done before you actually had a concrete idea what the story was even going to be about.
Right.
What are you doing with those pages that you're not actually going to be using the comic? I mean, at least the ones that are you. I know that you're trying to recycle some, but the ones that you don't manage to do that, what are you doing with those?
So some of them. Well, I work digitally now, but when I started Hammer, I penciled everything physically. So I had scanned everything into the computer. What doesn't get used for the first issue most likely will get used in the second issue, and what very few pieces don't get used, it may just be like one or two. Like it won't, and it's just pencils because I didn't ink it, right? So it's literally nothing, to be quite honest. Like it's a shot of her. So at one point when I wanted her to finally get the hammer and she touches the hammer, I wanted her to have a vision of her future. But her future is all based upon choices, right? So when I drew her originally in the future, as I thought I would see her, she had this very Conan-esque thing going on about her where she was kind of like sitting on a throne and had this big giant hammer, and she still had her mohawk, but she had this really cool patch over one eye, and was wearing like a fur coat and had not a fur coat, but a fur cape. Mm-hmm. And yeah, there was, and I thought that would be kind of like she would become this like desolate king type of thing, like of something she didn't really want. But then I realized that that's not really kind of what I'm going for. Like she wants purpose, she wants meaning. She's a non-believer, and she's given the hammer. So it turns a non-believer into a believer. And she becomes the epitome of the god of thunder. So very little stuff that I had designed originally are being thrown out. Very, very, very little. Minuscule.
But what I was going to say is, like, you should really consider whatever doesn't get used. It's especially since you say that you were starting this out, by hand. That can definitely be something that can also be put up on a tier for rewards. It's like, beta art for what the concept was going to be beforehand. And the fact that it's an original and it's physical, even if it's a sketch, that's definitely something that people would like. especially if you put it on the second campaign when people are a little bit more accustomed to what the story is actually about and invested on it.
Right,
That's a good
right.
idea. Yeah.
And I feel like I should too. Like most of the pages, the penciled pages I did, I believe I gave away most of them. And I did so on purpose to like bring in backers and stuff like that. I think, and I had only penciled like 10 pages. So I kept some of them, but I think I gave away a few of them. I even hand inked a couple of them. But as I told you at the beginning, when I was done with Kill Journal, I realized that I had sold a premise. It was just an idea, not a story. And then I had to literally sit down and figure it all out and make it more cohesive. Like,
sure,
I could have.
But think about it like it might not represent what the final project is right now, but I think it's a nice little bit. Like I think I told Irene this a couple times, especially when she wanted to discard a lot of her like concept art and not show it. But you know, it's a kind of like building blocks, or is kind of equatable to looking at an artist's sketchbook for it. It doesn't necessarily need to be what the project is now, but it's a cool thing to look at.
People do really like that stuff.
Yeah,
I'm
what
always
it could have
surprised.
been where it was at some point, seeing your process, even if you added like notes to that stuff, like I've told Irene that's actually the main reason why I buy collected trades, because they come with these little notes or sketches or previous versions of it. That's really cool, because you get to see something that a lot of people do not like to show or don't get to see, kind of like behind the veil kind of a thing.
Right. I'm all down for that. When maybe when I do reprints of stuff, I'll put extra like sketch stuff in the back, and I can print some of that stuff. But you're right. Hold on, I gotta move. You heard my air conditioner start.
Gosh, that was loud.
It's like coming to kill you now.
Kill Journal. You guys, everybody go check this out as well. The art looks great here. Ooh, gory. Yeah.
Hey, Irene.
Uh-huh.
I actually have an update for my campaign. Do you mind if I share really quick?
Oh, yeah, sure.
It's
okay, let me
super.
Okay, there we go. All right, can you see this?
Yep.
Alrighty, so this is the print by Joe Ball. We're doing a crossover thing with his character.
Fucking detail.
Yeah, so he's a big fan of Berserk, so his character has like a Dragon Slayer sword. And so
why is your share screen so small?
This is kind of a low res thing, so.
But you should still zoom in so we can actually see something.
Yeah.
Okay, hang on, let me.
It's either super close or all the way zoomed out.
Okay. What about
that
now?
looked really cool though. Hold on.
Now you actually exited out this.
Okay,
share.
no. I got it back. There we go.
Okay. Yeah, there we go. Now
look at that. Look at that. Joe fucking Ball, man. How about that?
Yeah.
That guy in the back makes me think of Skull Knights.
Yeah, as soon as he sends me the high res, I'll send this to Adam Brown to color, because there's only like 2 guys that can color Joe Ball, especially with this much rendering.
That would be hard. That looks like Skull Knight and some golem and had a baby with Guts' sword.
Yeah, basically it's his character is like a caveman, and here's mine with Carl and his pet wolf. Cool. Funny enough, I've actually talked to Joe, and we have a lot of the same influences, mythology and Bible stuff and Berserk. So there you go.
Man, it would be so cool we gotta start doing like these posters of like indie comic characters crossing over. Wouldn't that be awesome? Oh no, I was thinking of that. That would be so cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the 8K stretch goal, so that's a print everyone gets.
Woo! Awesome.
So there you go.
And you say that one's going to be colored, or is it going to be in black and white?
No, it'll be colored. I just got to send it to Adam Brown.
Okay.
Sweet. Well, we are like almost at 3 hours, so I do want to wrap up soon, but let's go through and take a look at all these campaigns one last time, all right? Let's see.
I hate to cut it short, but my computer is going to die, and I need to plug it in. So
okay. Well, it's about
kinda,
time, anyways, and we did get to take one more look at Hammer. So
I
yeah.
appreciate it. Like any of you, if you want to know more stuff about what I'm doing, reach out to me. I'm more than glad to answer any questions. I'm not by any means real pro at any of this stuff. I'm just kind of stumbling around in the dark. So
where are you at?
California.
No.
So,
for people to reach you, like say, like.
Yeah, I was about to ask that.
Oh, sorry. At Vonderabo on Twitter.
I'll put it in
Crager
the chat.
Jason. Thank you. Crager Jason on Instagram. And Jason Alistair Crowley Crager on Facebook.
Cool. You let people add you on Facebook. That's bold.
It doesn't bother me. I don't care.
Cool. Well, thank you so much.
Not at all. Yes, yeah. I'm in Cali. Eric, where at? I'm in Cyprus. Where are you, Eric?
Cyprus,
Cyprus, like right below Long Beach.
Orange County represents.
Right below Long Beach.
Yes.
Yeah, OC, behind the orange curtain.
Yeah.
Looking forward to this book. Yes, the book looks fantastic, and we appreciate you coming on and sharing your book and your sculptures.
Thank you, Irene.
And the little draugers. Yeah, I want one.
You know what? Make sure to send me your address. I'll send you one of these.
Okay. Yay. Okay. Motivated. That'll be so cool. All right. That's great.
Thank you for having me. It was nice to meet you all.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Yeah, good to meet you, dude. Interesting skills.
Send me some real coffee from Colombia, please.
I think we would all like that.
No.
Off stream. Later.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Steve, thank you. Chimera, Vault, Nick,
see you, Jason.
Irene, thank you.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody.
All right. Good night. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, it's nice to see another Norse mythology post-apocalyptic book out there.
Yeah, I mean, the field is entirely bereft of such efforts.
I was going to say, you're actually wearing a Colombian coffee shirt right now.
Oh, you're right.
Oh, that's so funny. Wait, you're saying there are more post-apocalyptic Norse mythology books? Oh, there's not a lot of those.
You can't swing a dead cat, I'm telling you, without hitting one.
I mean, there's a lot of Norse mythology things now that are popular, which
I mean, it's a good trope. It's a good trope.
Yeah, it is it is really cool though.
Yeah, it
I'm
is really
when
cool.
I started drawing, I was like, I just really am interested in this. I didn't want to come across as, I'm just following the trend. It's really cool and badass. Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
that was actually the original premise of Testament, was Norse aliens that were like Norse gods trying to take over the world.
Well, yeah, like Chimera's book has this.
I'm just sitting
my whole deal is that you can't come up with a new story.
Right.
I mean, good fucking luck. There aren't any new stories.
Nope.
But there is being able to tell stories in the same vein and in the same mode of stories that have resonated with people for years. Right. I still want to read a new one that works out that way.
Yeah,
like Fiendish. It's heavily inspired by Spawn and Demon Slayer.
Totally. It's just like Spawn and Demon Slayer. Okay, I don't even know why I keep on saying that, as if I'd have a problem
I don't even know what that's about.
I'm just talking about it.
Is it really?
As you always do. No.
I only read that 22 pages of it. I thought it was good, but I didn't really get that at all. I didn't really get any. Somehow I didn't get a Spawn vibe out of it at all.
No, I read like one issue of Spawn, and Chimera was teasing me about it. I don't know why, but all right.
I'm gonna have to go back and read it again.
Maybe it's the subtext. It's really deep. I put it in the subtext and read between lines. I'm just kidding. That's total bullshit.
For the most part, I find Chimera's judgment to be questionable, but occasionally he's quite brilliant. Occasionally he's quite brilliant.
Yeah, it's like 1% of the time. 99%.
All right then.
Good fucking luck.
I'm gonna recheck my notes. I'm gonna recheck my notes on the whole Fiendish thing.
Simon
that
says,
expression?
Valhalla.
A broken clock is like
right twice a day.
Yeah,
there you go. I think that applies.
Was that Sim?
Yeah, this campaign really shot up during the second month. Like your first month, you're like at 6,000 or something. Your second month, really shot up.
Yeah, the first month it was where I was like, I extended it to try to get to 10K, so it's definitely not at 10K. And the second month it really did shot up. So
Word
I
of
think
mouth.
dude, it was crazy. I forget. I have to pinpoint the day, but it was the streaming. It was getting on streams and talking to people about it that really did it. Because I didn't do that. I did a couple of smaller streams like Critical Blast, and I think I was on Sugar Chris's show the first month. But then like I didn't know where to go because I'm really new to the scene as well. And then the second month, people were like, "You have to go on this stream. You have to go on Bancraft, and you have to go on Raging Golden Eagle." And one day, I think I don't know which day it was, but I was looking at my campaign chart, and there was one day like early on in the second month where I shot like $4,000 in a day, and that was one day I went on one of the really big streams.
Yeah,
so
that was
it's streaming. That's what's so cool about this community. There are people that are talking about these campaigns and promoting it, and the reason I got on the streams was because of the readers, of like the people that are buying it were like, "Hey, you should go here to promote it." So it was really cool. Sumo Thori says the Fiendish campaign is still too. No, not this one. This Fiendish campaign is still too low. We need to push it more on streams. Yes.
Yeah, you should hit like 30K on the second one because you'll be offering.
Cool.
You'll be offering.
Well, I mean, you'll. I mean, you're in demand, right?
I'm in demand now, so I'm gonna.
Yeah, you're gonna hit 30K on this.
No, I mean like during the first. No, I mean during the funding period.
Yeah. All right,
cool.
nuts and bolts, dude. Nobody cares.
I'll keep my expectations low. I'll still, we'll just see. But
it's nice to see an artist that's humble. Most of you artists are weirdos with like egos. So
that is true.
Irene, humble.
I'm very humble, Nick. No, you come on my show and talk this shit to me.
Irene. I don't really know what Irene's program is, but most artists are flakes.
Yeah, they are.
Now.
It's what? Artists are flakes? A lot of artists
are
flakes. A lot of issues, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. That's unfortunate. But man, what is it? The recipe for success is you have to be fast, nice, or good. So there you go. You could be two of those three. And
you gotta be two of those.
If you're all three, then you're a star. There you go.
Yeah, you gotta be two of those three things.
Yep, that's true.
As an editor, fast would be tops on my list.
Right. Yeah. I would imagine that is your priority. But, I try to do things on time. I hit deadlines, usually at the last minute, but I do hit my deadlines. So.
Again, without, I don't want to go too far into the weeds here, but again, I think it's an elusive formula. I think it's a moving target. I think that any approach might work and any approach might fail.
I think,
but they're not. It's not a cookie cutter type of thing. You've got a combination of talents, and you put them out there.
You have to put out what's authentic to that one creator.
Oh, Lewis in the chat says a Cecil stream. You got to get on Cecil's. That's gonna be fucking hilarious.
People have been telling me that, so apparently I need to go on Cecil's stream. We'll see, guys. I haven't reached out. I've just been too busy these couple of weeks. I have commissions and stuff due later this week, so I'm trying to get it. Yeah, I have a lot of work, but I will try to get on his show. Apparently,
make that happen. I might know a guy to make that happen.
Okay, that would be cool. I'd love to go on. I mean, I'm open to talking to anybody. I've jumped on streams not knowing what the fuck's happening or any of the people that are on it. I can handle it. It's cool.
I'm not going to speculate on that publicly.
Norin Turbo, you can guess on Fragga June as well. Yeah, I was on Fragga June, and I will try to get on again before then. Well, I will, but next week. I've just been too busy this week, but next week I will try to get on either Monday or Friday. So there we go. And yeah, I did the Bunny Punisher. It was like 2 weeks ago. I did do a Fragga June. So.
That was actually pretty good, and then you added like this skull afterwards.
Yeah, I added the skull afterwards.
On top of the
suit because everybody was like, "Where's the Punisher skull?" I was like, "It's under the suit," and everybody had a big problem with it, so I added it. I just like painted it on the suit after. I was like, "There you go."
There you go.
Oh yeah. Wise Guys. It was because of Wise Guys and Leroy. Yeah, I think it was closeout day. That might have been the day. So we were closing Fiendish on let's see. Oh, it was closeout day for no. I had a big jump before that, but closeout day was also really huge. I think Bancroft was a big jump, and then on closeout day, Wise Guys and Leroy and a bunch of other people like were, spamming Shane Davis' channel, and then I left my stream and went to Shane's channel. It was like 2 a.m. over here, and in the last 2 hours, we shot up like 2 or 3 grand. It was crazy.
Yeah, the algorithm really bumps you up in the final hours.
Yeah, that was fucking nuts, but that was fantastic, and I was very grateful.
Speaking of, Havoc is ending tonight. Algorithm boost, all that.
Half egg?
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. That would be great.
That was
yes,
well
let's
done,
go back to
Tamara.
that.
Now,
See
now
if
you're
it went up
getting
any.
good.
What did you say, Steve?
Are you going into In Demand for this?
He was giving me a compliment because I'm so awesome.
Yes, I am going in demand.
Cool. Well, that'll
Yeah, we're going to be hawking this thing for the next 6 months.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
It's one of the rare times Steve actually gives me a compliment. Yeah, I really like this. I keep saying it's a light novel, even though it's not. I don't know why my brain is stuck on that, but I really like Trials and Triumphs. You should definitely consider making it into a graphic novel. Vault.
Mm-hmm. It's like an illustrated.
Yeah, it's like a light novel.
It's
like
an
a YA.
Illustrated light novel, kind of. So. Yeah. Oh, the dreaded words YA. But yeah, I like Trials and Triumph as well. I would love to see this as a comic. I know that's probably annoying for you to hear because Havoc is your main thing, but I'm gonna keep on saying it. So yeah, everybody.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll just do that. Maybe Vault's the next big YA author.
Nah, graphic novel.
Graphic novel.
Give him a little taste.
All right,
thank you for
give me
the
a second. I gotta go grab my spear real quick. Hold on.
Oh, here we go. All right, you guys want to kill each other? You take it outside.
Well, I have a Tommy gun, so I'm Joseph Joestar.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it doesn't help when I got your head on a pike.
Who's the?
All right, this is getting out of hand. I gotta wrap this up.
There's a metal plate.
Oh, we didn't see that.
Oh, I actually got my metal trading cards from that guy as well the other day. It's pretty good.
I'm thinking of getting metal trading cards too.
That's a metal trading.
That's a metal print. I got metal trading cards.
Where are you getting your
print? It's about as big as my face. There's my face.
Phoenix Animation does
that.
Yep.
Oh, sweet. Okay, that's cool. Because I've been considering making. Well, sorry. I'm just here to make you uncomfortable. I've been considering making another key. If we do get past 25K, we'll see, because we're crawling right now. But I'm considering making the trading cards metal as well. So that'll be cool. I'll reach out to them if that happens. So, but yes, it is. We are at 3 hours, dude. We've been shooting this shit for way too long. We gotta wrap up. Everybody back Havoc. This is an awesome book. You have 4 hours left. So are you going on any other streams after this to continue pushing it to the last minute?
Oh God, no.
No? What? Where's the commitment? Well, you're going into In Demand, so it's
I've
fine.
been up since 3 a.m. That's where my commitment ended.
Oh. All right, cool. Well, you need to be more committed. I'm just kidding. No, that's rough. All right, well, everybody back Havoc. Get the book, and also you should get the one with both Havoc and Trials and Triumph, because Trials and Triumph looks really awesome, and I like it a lot. So
yeah,
check
everybody
that
buy
out,
a bunch
guys.
of books. Fuck's sakes.
Buy books. And Sim has a link in the chat. Thank you very much.
Buy Sim's book.
Buy
Testament.
Book. Buy everybody's book.
Yeah, buy everybody's fucking book. What are you doing? What else you got to do?
Back Fiendish as well.
Yeah, get Fiendish.
Sure.
Maybe get metal cards.
Help me get to extra 4 pages first. So that would be nice.
Yeah.
That would be nice. Yeah, I'm going to drop the link in a minute.
That.
But while we do that, why don't you guys, everybody tell the chat where to find you all? I guess let's start with Steve. Let's just go.
No, I'm busy.
The real Steve guy? No?
No,
okay, everybody, don't talk to Steve. Moving on, AC.
I got enough to do. Everybody leave me the fuck alone. Moving on.
Great answer. Thank you.
I'm AC Zamudio. I'm the artist of Shadow Roads and Death Follows. You can find me at my name, AC Zamudio, on Twitter and on Instagram. Honey, how about you?
Nick Zamudio. Same thing, but with Ink Imp. Starting to put stuff on Instagram. Too curmudgeonly to really get on Twitter, but I'm there. But the easier way to get a hold of me is actually Facebook.
apparently people don't like it there, but that's where I am. Ink Imp or Carlos Nicolas Mudio on Facebook. Yeah,
he's Ink Imp on most places. So
yeah.
I Ink and IMP Imp, like Goblin. So there you go. Yeah, he's never online, but well, he's apparently on Twitter a little more. So DM him on Twitter. It might seem like he's never there, but I have been telling him to check his DMs. Yeah.
Never on Twitter, actually. I'll be on Facebook.
Okay. Apparently, we're all boomers, so go on Facebook if you need to find Nick. He's coloring my book, so if you need stuff colored, you can go find Nick. All right, Chimera, where does everybody find you?
No, just leave me alone. The same answer as Steve.
All right, I have such charming guests today. Vault.
Oh, you can find me on Minds and Twitter at Vault Kobold. Everywhere.
Nice.
The correct answer is walk, don't run. No, wait, run, don't walk. How does that work? Yeah, to back Havoc. That's where you can find Vault at. Havoc. In about the next 3 or 4 hours, you can find Havoc on Indiegogo.
There you
Back
go.
Havoc.
Exactly. Just go to Havoc on Indiegogo. Well, and you can all find me at Draws here. And I'm Rini Draws everywhere as well, on Twitter, on YouTube channel, obviously, as you're probably watching this on YouTube. And I keep on forgetting to tell people, I have an Instagram that's also Rini Draws, so go follow me there. I have also an Instagram account that's just for the comic. That's fiendish.comic. It's linked to my Rini Draws account. So just go on there, give me a follow. I post a bunch of art, like everything that I do, you know, from like commissions or fan art, and also stuff for Fiendish there, so go check it out. And you should also go check out Fiendish on Indiegogo. The link is in the chat. Thank you very much, Wise Guys Entertainment. We are in demand right now, and I'm probably gonna keep it in demand for much longer than originally planned. I was gonna keep it in demand until we go to print, but I think I'll just keep it there, but not do any more stretch goals after we go to print, so people can keep on getting the book. And until chapter 2 comes out, then I'm going to take down to chapter 1 and offer everything anew with chapter 2. So yeah, we're trying to get to 25K. We're almost at 24K, so we're pretty close, even though, you know, things are kind of in a lull right now. But if we get to 25K, that's the stretch goal is 4 more pages on the comic. So if you want 4 more pages on chapter 1, which will make the book a 50 pages of story art, and that'll be like a 60-page book because I have 10 pages extra content. It's a really, really, really big book. So if you want the book to be even bigger, if you want like extra pages, then go check out Fiendish and back it. Yeah, okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you guys for joining us so much. You've been lovely chat. So many regulars. Eric McIntyre says I only use MySpace. Oh boy, I didn't even have a MySpace. That sounds perfect. Yeah, but thank you guys again.
MySpace book.
Okay, come join us again next week at Wednesdays, 8 p.m. I'll do a stream. I don't know what's going on next week, but we'll figure it out. Hopefully I'll get some drawing in. I haven't been able to recently, but we'll see. But all right, anyways, thank you all for joining us and have a good night. Bye, guys.
See ya.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, folks.